Hi everyone, please subscribe to my channel. Blood Immortal Venerable. See playlist for other chapters and novels. Join now our Telegram channel now and enjoy exclusive early access. t.me/blood_immortal_official. I do not translate the novels. Credits goes to original translator and author of the novel. I only make it as an audiobook so it would be easier to just listen while doing other things. Credits goes to the author of the novel. I convert stories to audiobook for mental health, for multitasking purpose, for accessibility and time saving. Listening to audiobook is also beneficial for people who have disability. It improves our listening skills and improve our English comprehension, vocabulary and other things. So, thank you for listening. Thank you and thank you very much for your support. Chapter 361, The Yuan Realm Shattered. Crack, crack, crack. Once again, sounds of fracturing emanated from the Chaos Ancient Well. Yi Tian, who was preparing to continue his cultivation, opened his eyes and looked in that direction, immediately frowning. Judging by the cracks in the Chaos Ancient Well, it can probably hold up for at most another month. Yi Tian estimated. Normally, a Yuan realm could remain open for 6 months to a year before it had to wait a long time to open again. However, this Yuan realm could only last for 1.5 months. After that, it would completely shatter and disappear. Lucky for me, I have a 10x time acceleration ability, along with the unnamed physical cultivation secret technique. Otherwise, just this Yuan realm wouldn't have been enough for me to break through my body's limits even once. Yi Tian couldn't help but sigh. With 1 month left, he planned to attempt breaking through his 19th bodily limit. With his time talent, a month for him was like 10 months. Previously, it had taken him 15 days to break through the 18th bodily limit. Now, with time doubled, he might have a chance to break through the 19th limit. Yi Tian looked at his wife, Empress Yu, and saw that she had already broken through her 14th bodily limit. Based on Empress Yu's cultivation progress, she should be able to break through the 16th bodily limit by the time the Yuan realm closed and shattered. He then looked at his sister, Yi Yu, and found that her cultivation speed was also very fast. She had already broken through her 6th bodily limit. It's worth noting that his sister Yi Yu had only broken through her 2nd bodily limit before, and now she had suddenly reached the 6th, which was incredibly fast. Yi Tian had thought about bringing his sister into the time acceleration as well, but decided against it in the end. The fewer people knew about his time talent, the better. It wasn't that he didn't trust his sister, but it wasn't necessary. His sister's cultivation speed was already very fast, having jumped from the 2nd to the 6th bodily limit in a short time. In essence, his sister had almost no foundation at the Emperor level, and if he were to use his time talent to help her, she might directly break through more than a dozen bodily limits. This might not necessarily be a good thing for his sister. A strong individual isn't built from resources alone. Under his protection, his sister had hardly faced any dangers or difficulties. If he were to endlessly help his sister, it wouldn't be aiding her but harming her. For instance, the Heavenly Pride Pavilion of Silver Universe Star doesn't provide resources for cultivating Heavenly Prides. They let the Heavenly Prides struggle and fight on their own, otherwise, they would only cultivate a worthless Heavenly Pride. Yi Tian wanted his sister to strive and fight for resources on her own, to carve out her own path. He couldn't always protect his sister. Of course, for his wife, Empress Yu, Yi Tian would naturally help as much as he could. After all, spouses are one, and Empress Yu had already accumulated a lot of experience at the Emperor level. Even if she advanced rapidly, it wouldn't cause her realm to become unstable. Yi Tian continued his cultivation. As days passed, the Chaos Ancient Well emitted less and less Chaos Yuan Qi. Moreover, with both Yi Tian and Empress Yu cultivating in a time-accelerated environment, they absorbed far more Chaos Yuan Qi than others, leading to the rapid depletion of the Yuan realm's Chaos Yuan Qi. Gradually, the cultivation speed of others began to slow down. Why has the cultivation speed slowed down, and why is there less and less Chaos Yuan Qi around? Look, the cracks on that ancient well are increasing. Is it about to shatter? The Chaos Yuan Qi is spewing from that ancient well. Now that it's spewing less and less, it seems the Yuan realm is becoming less effective for us. If this continues, won't we soon be unable to cultivate in the Yuan realm? My goodness, I've already grown fond of cultivating in the Yuan realm. It's too painful not to be able to cultivate here. Hehe, who wouldn't want to cultivate in the Yuan realm? In such a short time, I've broken through 3 bodily limits. Given enough time, I might even reach the 9-star level. The emperors became restless, but they soon regained their composure. They didn't want to waste time on pointless discussions or chatter but wanted to seize every moment to absorb chaos yuan qi and temper their bodies. Finally, one day, the chaos yuan qi became extremely scarce, teetering on the edge of shattering. All emperors, leave the Yuan realm immediately. It's about to shatter. Yi Tian's voice echoed throughout the entire Yuan realm. What? The Yuan realm is about to shatter. The emperors within the Yuan realm began to panic. They didn't believe Yi Tian would deceive them, as there was no reason for him to do so. Moreover, with the chaos yuan qi in the Yuan realm already so scarce, many emperors left the realm one after another. Haha, master, I've completed my 11th bloodline transformation. Xiao Shui excitedly ran to Yi Tian and reported. Xiao Shui, your progress is very good. However, the Yuan realm is about to shatter, so you should leave with little Yu and the others first. Yi Tian instructed. Okay, Xiao Shui nodded and complied. Immediately, Yi Tian had Yi Yu lead the emperors from the Tian pavilion to leave, even asking his wife, Empress Yu, to leave first. Husband, aren't you leaving? Empress Yu asked. Yi Tian shook his head and truthfully replied, I plan to attempt breaking through the 19th bodily limit before the Yuan realm completely shatters. I am only one step away from the 19th limit, and I don't want to give up, so I want to seize this opportunity to make a breakthrough. Don't worry, I'll be able to leave before the Yuan realm completely shatters. Alright, then I'll go first. You must be careful not to put yourself in danger just for the sake of breaking through the 19th bodily limit. Empress Yu advised. Soon, almost all the emperors had left, leaving only Yi Tian sitting beside the Chaos Ancient Well. freewebnovel.com. Boom. Yi Tian began to frantically absorb the Chaos Yuan Qi from the entire Yuan realm, with the Yuan Qi from other areas surging towards him. With no one competing with Yi Tian for the Chaos Yuan Qi, he managed to absorb a considerable amount. Crack, crack. Suddenly, 2 more cracks appeared, and the entire Chaos Ancient Well began to tremble, a clear sign that it was about to shatter. Yi Tian knew he didn't have much time left. He had to try breaking through the 19th bodily limit with the little time he had, or else he would have to leave the Yuan realm. Minutes passed, and even with the 10x time acceleration, time seemed to fly by extremely fast for Yi Tian. Finally, Yi Tian felt the bottleneck of the 19th bodily limit. Let's begin the breakthrough. Yi Tian gathered the last bits of Chaos Yuan Qi remaining in the Yuan realm within his body and then activated the unnamed physical cultivation secret technique. Yi Tian knew he only had one chance to make this breakthrough. If he failed, there wouldn't be enough Chaos Yuan Qi left for another attempt, nor would there be time for another opportunity. The 19th bodily limit, break for me. Yi Tian roared inwardly. With a crack, a sound of something breaking echoed in Yi Tian's ears. Instantly, he felt an endless surge of power within his body, replenishing what was needed with the remaining Chaos Yuan Qi. At this moment, Yi Tian felt his body's strength growing stronger, undergoing a transformation. Clearly, he had broken through the 19th bodily limit. Ha ha ha, I've finally made a breakthrough. Yi Tian was extremely excited. Breaking through the 19th bodily limit was something unheard of in the entire galaxy, at least Yi Tian had never heard of any heavenly pride achieving this. Before Yi Tian could familiarize himself with his newfound strength, the Chaos Ancient Well completely shattered. Not good, time to leave. Yi Tian quickly used instantaneous movement to leave. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After several instances of teleportation, Yi Tian reached the entrance of the Yuan realm. By then, the entrance to the Yuan realm had also begun to collapse. A normal emperor would have no chance of escaping, but Yi Tian's space talent had reached the pseudo-mystic level. He used his space talent to lock onto the coordinates of Earth's main world. With a thunderous boom, Yi Tian forcefully tore through the collapsing entrance of the Yuan realm and entered it. Countless space fragments attempted to annihilate Yi Tian, but they were all blocked by the spatial barrier he cast. At Mount Kunlun, Empress Yu, Yi Yu, and Xiao Shui were all waiting outside for Yi Tian's return. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. Please consider reading at Chapter 362, Acquiring the Fire Dragon God Stone. Sister-in-law, the entrance to the Yuan realm has shattered. Yi Yu's face was filled with worry. The shattered entrance to the Yuan realm raised concerns about whether brother Yi Tian could still make it out. Although Empress Yu was also very worried, she reassured, little Yu, your brother will definitely make it out. No sooner had her words faded than a hand reached out from the broken entrance of the Yuan realm. Following that, Yi Tian's entire body emerged, looking somewhat disheveled but otherwise unharmed. Seeing Yi Tian safely emerge, Empress Yu hurried over and threw herself into Yi Tian's arms, holding him tightly. "It's okay, I am fine," Yi Tian said, patting Empress Yu's back. Thereupon, Yi Tian, Empress Yu, Yi Yu, and Xiao Blood left the Kunlun mountain range and returned to Zonghai Super Base. In the following days, Earth became a hub of activity, mainly due to the escalating tensions between Huasha and other nations. The emperors from other nations was envious of the significant improvement in cultivation and strength of Huasha's emperors who had entered the Yuan realm. They questioned why Huasha had not allocated slots for them to enter the Yuan realm. Such minor issues naturally did not require Yi Tian's intervention. Huasha's emperors visited various nations, defeating all opposing emperors one by one, and soon, the voices of opposition and questioning towards Huasha gradually subsided. It's noteworthy that after emerging from the Yuan realm, Huasha's emperors not only gave rise to several 9-star emperors but also quite a few 8-star emperors, with a large number of 6- and 7-star emperors as well. As for the emperors from other nations, most were considerably weaker. Rising star emperors were the strongest, but were unable to withstand Huasha's great emperors. Furthermore, Huasha's great emperors initiated numerous wars in the Earth Immortal realm, virtually sweeping through the entire realm. Originally, some foreign forces emperors remained in the Earth Immortal realm, but once these emperors learned of the fall of the foreign forces 8- and 9-star emperors, as well as demigods, they immediately withdrew from Earth and vanished. Thus, Huasha's emperors swiftly took control of the entire Earth Immortal realm. The forces from other nations were completely submissive to Huasha's power, daring not to contend with it. For a time, Huasha emerged as Earth's strongest nation, and its forces became the planet's most formidable powers. Simultaneously, with the shattering of the Yuan realm, Earth's Yuan Qi began to recover. A new era was on the horizon. Yi Tian did not concern himself with these trivial matters. Upon returning to Zonghai Super Base, he began a retreat to stabilize his realm. Days passed by. One day, near Zonghai Super Base, in the Ferocious Beast World, numerous dragon clan powerhouses appeared. In the Ferocious Beast World, a humanoid dragon, wearing a golden robe and treading on the void, looked towards the spatial rift. His presence seemed to freeze the entire Ferocious Beast World, forcing countless ferocious beasts to prostrate, not daring to move an inch. Standing behind him were numerous god-level dragons, who showed great respect and awe, not daring to breathe too loudly in his presence. This leading figure, known as the Dragon Lord, was Long Tianlin's grandfather and was revered as the true god Qingtian. True god Qingtian, Prince Long Tianlin is on the human planet on the other side of this spatial rift, a demigod reported apprehensively to true god Qingtian. True god Qingtian remained silent, but his facial expression was quite pronounced. He was a true god of the Dragon Clan, and his grandson was a source of great pride for him. It was unimaginable that his grandson had been captured on a human planet and was being exchanged for the Dragon Clan's Fire Dragon God Stone. Being threatened by an emperor-level being was an immense humiliation for him, a true god. Even if that emperor was a heavenly pride, this incident, once made public, would be a stain on his reputation. Unfortunately, as a true god, he couldn't pass through the spatial rift. Of course, he could directly enter the human Milky Way solar system and destroy Earth with his godly presence. However, entering the solar system wouldn't be easy for him, as the outer regions of the human star field were heavily guarded. If he, a true god, dared to infiltrate the human domain, he would undoubtedly attract the attention of powerful beings. If he merely intended to roam the Milky Way, that wouldn't be a problem. However, if he dared to strike against a human planet, especially one of high status, he wouldn't be able to return. To destroy a human planet and risk leaving his own life in the human world was not a foolish risk he was willing to take. Losing face was a minor issue that could be dealt with later. His grandson's life was of utmost importance and could not be jeopardized. Thus, the true god Qingtian spoke, "These are 2 fire dragon god stones. Enter Earth and bring back my grandson. If you fail in this task, you and your clan members will serve as funeral offerings for my grandson." freewebnovel.com. The demigod, trembling with fear, assured, "True god Qingtian, I will surely accomplish this task." Immediately, the demigod, holding the 2 fire dragon god stones, passed through the spatial rift and entered Earth. Before long, he arrived outside Zonghai Super Base, reported his identity, and requested to notify Yi Tian. In the Heavenly Pride Pavilion, Yi Tian quickly learned of the arrival of the Dragon Clan's envoy. True god Qingtian managed to gather 2 fire dragon god stones so quickly. "Impressive speed," Yi Tian exclaimed. He had initially thought that Long Tianlin's grandfather, true god Qingtian, would need half a year to collect them, considering that the fire dragon god stones were no ordinary items and were extremely precious even among the dragon clan. It wouldn't be easy for a true god to gather them, likely requiring visits to many dragon clan planets and possibly trading with other powerful entities. Moreover, he demanded 2 fire dragon god stones, not just one, which would require even more time. True god Qingtian must have been extremely concerned about his grandson's safety to have gathered the 2 fire dragon god stones so quickly. Whoosh! Yi Tian flew out of Zonghai Superbase and met with the dragon clan's demigod. Greetings to the heavenly pride of 10,000 laws. The dragon clan's demigod said respectfully. Enough, bring out the 2 fire dragon god stones. As long as you hand them over, your Prince Long Tianlin will surely be returned to you. Yi Tian said promptly. Instantly, the demigod from the dragon clan nervously took out the 2 fire dragon god stones. He was somewhat afraid that Yi Tian would take the stones and not release Prince Long Tianlin. If that happened, not only would he face death, but his clan members would also face true god Qingtian's wrath. Swoosh! Yi Tian instantly took the 2 fire dragon god stones and then opened his palm, activating the Zumi palm, releasing Long Tianlin from the Zumi realm. Long Tianlin, severely injured, slightly opened his eyes upon emerging from the Zumi realm and immediately understood the situation upon seeing the demigod from the dragon clan and Yi Tian. The dragon clan had come to his rescue. Take your Prince Long Tianlin and leave quickly. Yi Tian waved his hand. Thank you, heavenly pride of 10,000 laws. After expressing his gratitude, the dragon clan's demigod quickly left with Long Tianlin. In a short while, they passed through the spatial rift and arrived in the ferocious beast world. This was when Long Tianlin saw his grandfather, true god Qingtian. Grandfather, Long Tianlin called out, let's go back, true god Qingtian said indifferently, without saying much else. Long Tianlin knew he had disappointed his grandfather. The dragon clan group left the ferocious beast world through a teleportation array. Soon, peace was restored to the ferocious beast world. Meanwhile, Yi Tian returned to the Heavenly Pride Pavilion and took out the 2 fire dragon god stones. He was laughing wildly, his face filled with excitement. Ha ha ha, I've gathered all 4 auxiliary materials required to cultivate the fire element divine technique, Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. With my god-level fire domain talent and the 5 elements transformation talent, I've met all the requirements to cultivate the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. Yi Tian declared. This meant he could now begin cultivating the fire element divine technique, Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. Please consider reading at Chapter 363, The Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, a Divine Fire Technique, Achieved. The method to cultivate the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, a Divine Fire Technique, was actually quite simple. It involved refining 4 materials with a special method and integrating them into the palm of one's hand. Then, one would use a god-level fire talent to form a special divine mark in the palm. Once in battle, activating this divine mark would allow the user to wield the divine technique. Of course, like martial techniques, divine techniques also had different stages of mastery, such as the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, which was divided into 4 minor stages: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and perfected. This division was similar to that of martial techniques, but advancing in divine techniques was much more difficult than in martial arts. Many heavenly prides, even after mastering a divine technique, only reached the beginner level. Advancing further without sufficient talent and time was virtually impossible. However, even a beginner-level divine technique was incredibly powerful, far surpassing god-level talents. Yi Tian was quite looking forward to the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand and thus prepared to begin its cultivation. He took out the Dragon Fire God Stone, Fire God Crystal, Million-Year Fire Spirit Essence, and the 7th tier Strange Fire, the Golden Lotus Flame. These 4 materials were not ordinary, they were treasures containing the essence of fire laws. Normally, these 4 materials were very difficult to melt, let alone integrate into one's palm, but the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand included a corresponding method for their refinement. According to the records of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, the first to be refined should be the 7th tier Strange Fire, the Golden Lotus Flame. The Golden Lotus Flame was chosen first because the subsequent refinement processes required the power of this strange fire. Immediately, Yi Tian opened the jade box sealing the Golden Lotus Flame. Boom! The Golden Lotus Flame appeared out of thin air, its terrifying flame power burning the void. It seemed as if even space would turn black under the flames of the Golden Lotus. For an ordinary emperor-level cultivator, merely touching the golden lotus flame could reduce them to ashes. Of course, for a peerless heavenly pride like Yi Tian, the golden lotus flame was merely a flame with a higher temperature. Swish! Yi Tian grabbed the golden lotus flame and activated the refinement method recorded in the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. Refine. Yi Tian put all his effort into refining, and under his method, the golden lotus flame gradually merged into his palm. Instantly, Yi Tian's entire palm turned red. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, a day had gone by. After a whole day of refinement, the golden lotus flame was finally completely integrated into Yi Tian's palm. Now to refine the fire god crystal, Yi Tian said with a solemn expression. Refining the golden lotus flame was not difficult, but refining the fire god crystal would not be easy. The fire god crystal was an extremely tough treasure of the fire element. Even with the golden lotus flame, melting the fire god crystal into the palm would take a long time. Swish! A faint flame appeared in Yi Tian's palm, enveloping the fire god crystal under the effect of the refinement method. The refinement began. Soon, a day passed, and the flame changed shape, but it was far from being completely melted. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. On this day, the fire god crystal finally transformed into a different form, slowly enveloping Yi Tian's entire palm and gradually merging into the flesh of his palm. This process took another 3 days to complete, finally finishing the second phase. The third one to refine is the Dragon Fire God Stone. Refining the Dragon Fire God Stone was slightly easier than the Fire God Crystal but still required a considerable amount of time. Yi Tian held the Dragon Fire God Stone in his right hand and activated the refinement method, slowly refining the Dragon Fire God Stone as time slowly passed. After 10 days, the Dragon Fire God Stone was also completely integrated into Yi Tian's palm. With this, 3 of the fire treasures had been fully refined by Yi Tian, leaving only the last treasure, the Million-Year Fire Spirit Essence. This Million-Year Fire Spirit Essence played an indispensable role, acting as an integrator. The Fire God Crystal, Dragon Fire God Stone, and Golden Lotus Flame, although refined into Yi Tian's palm, had not truly merged their fire essences. The Million-Year Fire Spirit Essence, however, could fully and perfectly integrate the essences of the Fire God Crystal, Dragon Fire God Stone, and Golden Lotus Flame in the palm, making them one. Refining the Million-Year Fire Spirit Essence was relatively simple. Yi Tian placed his palm into the liquid substance of the Million-Year Fire Spirit Essence and, in just 3 days, completely absorbed all of it. Now, only the last step remained, using his god-level fire talent to cultivate the divine mark in his palm. Thus, Yi Tian utilized his god-level fire domain talent and the cultivation method of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand to start condensing the divine mark on his right palm. Let's begin, Yi Tian thought to himself. Boom! A vast amount of fire law power appeared in the center of his right palm, continuously gathering and condensing. Gradually, his entire right palm was completely transformed. Days passed, and after 5 days, all the fire law power converged to a single point, forming a divine mark hidden deep within his right palm. The Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, a divine fire technique, was fully cultivated. The Great Flame Extinguishing Hand has reached the beginner level. This was Yi Tian's first divine technique, and he was quite interested in the power of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. Swoosh! Yi Tian flew out from Zonghai Super Base, rushing out of Earth to test the power of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand in the starry sky. He prepared to test the might of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand in the vastness of space. Upon activating the divine mark of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, Yi Tian struck out with his palm towards the space ahead. Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. With a thunderous boom, a gigantic fiery palm appeared in the void, grasping towards the stars, its terrifying fire power burning a vast area of space. Under the effect of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, even space itself was affected. The power of a divine fire technique is indeed much stronger than that of a god-level fire talent. Yi Tian exclaimed. Although the attack power of the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand was still far from his strongest attack, the divine fire technique could be activated instantly without hindering his ability to use other techniques. In other words, the divine fire technique could assist his attacks, making it extremely useful. Moreover, the divine fire technique consumed very little energy and could be used for sustained attacks. Furthermore, this was only a beginner-level divine fire technique. Once it reached the intermediate, advanced, or perfected levels, its power would be even more terrifying. Not to mention, the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand was not the most heaven-defying divine technique, and there were certainly many more terrifying divine techniques. In any case, divine techniques were a very powerful enhancement for martial warriors. Yi Tian was actually more excited about the divine techniques corresponding to his time and space talents. Even his space talent, which had only reached the pseudo-mystic level, was much more powerful than a god-level talent. If his space talent also reached the god level and he cultivated a space divine technique, its power would be unimaginably terrifying, definitely becoming Yi Tian's strongest attack method in the future. Yi Tian had a feeling that he was not far from becoming an 8-star peerless heavenly pride. After breaking through his 19th physical limit, his strength was already at the peak of 8-star peerless heavenly prides. Now that he had cultivated the great flame extinguishing hand, his strength had increased even further, reaching the limit of 8-star peerless heavenly prides. Now that the great flame extinguishing hand had been cultivated, advancing it to the intermediate level would be very difficult. Yi Tian decided to temporarily set aside the cultivation of divine fire techniques and focus on palm, sword, and claw techniques. Especially palm and sword techniques, any slight improvement in one of them would definitely allow Yi Tian to step into the realm of 8-star peerless heavenly prides. I still lack a super god level sword technique. Yi Tian frowned slightly. His current sword Dao realm was at 50%, not far from 51%. Ordinary super god level sword techniques required a 55% sword Dao realm to cultivate. However, a super god level sword technique involving space only required a 51% sword Dao realm to reach the beginner level. Therefore, what Yi Tian most desired now was a super god level sword technique involving space. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. Please consider reading at Chapter 364, The Plan to Plunder Resources. Super god level sword techniques are extremely rare, and indeed there are some within the Heavenly Pride Pavilion. Having revealed the power of a peerless Heavenly Pride, I can certainly return to the Heavenly Pride Pavilion to challenge the Heavenly Pride Tower. I should be able to earn a considerable amount of points, and with those points, I should be able to purchase a super god level sword technique that involves spatial manipulation. This was what Yi Tian thought. This was the only method he could think of to obtain a super god level sword technique. However, for now, he couldn't return to Silver Universe Star because there were far too many matters to attend to on Earth. He couldn't just up and leave now. Especially since he had only just returned, and if he were to leave again, his wife, Empress Yu, would definitely find it hard to let go. There's no rush for the super god level sword technique, I need to sort out the matters on Earth first. Yi Tian thought to himself. Currently, the Dragon Clan and other external forces had mostly left Earth, but there were still many ferocious beasts remaining. It could be said that the humans of Earth hadn't even fully taken control of their own planet, let alone the entire solar system. As the master of the solar system, if Yi Tian hadn't fully taken control of his homeland, Earth, it would undoubtedly be crazy. Moreover, there was another point. The spatial rifts would soon disappear. The reason so many spatial rifts appeared on Earth was due to the rapid expansion of the planet, which caused spatial fluctuations, coupled with the influence of the Yuan realm, otherwise, it wouldn't be possible for so many spatial rifts to appear. Once the spatial rifts disappeared, Earth would no longer be threatened by the world of ferocious beasts, but it would also lose many resources. Therefore, the first thing Yi Tian needed to handle was the collection of resources from the world of ferocious beasts. Taking advantage of the time before the spatial rifts disappeared, he planned to plunder the resources of the world of ferocious beasts thoroughly. After all, those worlds of ferocious beasts were mostly within the star fields controlled by the Dragon Clan, and humanity would not feel remorseful about plundering these resources. Thus, Yi Tian initiated an emperor-level meeting in the virtual world. Before long, many emperors joined the meeting. During the meeting, Yi Tian spoke, "All emperors from various parts of Huasha, I've called you here to propose an idea. We should take this opportunity to collect the resources from the world of ferocious beasts as the spatial rifts on Earth will soon disappear, according to my calculations." freewebnovel.com. With our current strength, sweeping through the world of ferocious beasts is not difficult. If the spatial rifts disappear, we would lose a vast amount of resources. The spatial rifts are going to disappear. Emperor Ling Fei frowned. He had been busy dealing with matters in the Earth Immortal realm and almost neglected the world of ferocious beasts. Most of Earth's resources were plundered from the world of ferocious beasts. Although Earth itself also had many resources, the cumulative wealth of the world of ferocious beasts was immense. Immediately, Yi Tian proposed that the emperors of Huasha assist some of the weaker bases to attack the world of ferocious beasts, sweeping through the worlds corresponding to the spatial rifts within Huasha's territory as quickly as possible, and plundering all their resources. Once the resources corresponding to the spatial rifts within Washa's territory were mostly plundered, they would then move on to the oceans to attack the worlds of ferocious beasts corresponding to the spatial rifts in the oceans. If the spatial rifts had not yet disappeared by then, they would then invade the worlds of ferocious beasts corresponding to the spatial rifts in other countries. In short, the goal was to collect resources as quickly and as much as possible. This was the purpose of this meeting. Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws, we understand. We will arrange our forces immediately to attack the world of ferocious beasts and collect resources. One after another, the emperors responded. Then, the emperors started making arrangements, and Yi Tian also logged off. Afterwards, Yi Tian informed the Battle Axe Emperor and other emperors of Zonghai Superbase that they must collect the resources from the world of ferocious beasts as quickly as possible. The world of ferocious beasts corresponding to the 5-star spatial rift near Zonghai Superbase had already been cleared of its beastly masters, and it was sufficient to dispatch some 3 or 4-star emperors to sweep through the entire world of ferocious beasts. Therefore, there was no need for Yi Tian to take action. However, this time, Yi Tian also dispatched warriors from the Tian Pavilion as a formality. Following that, Yi Tian dispatched many warriors from the Tian Pavilion and Zonghai Superbase to Demon Sea Base, which was near a 3-star spatial rift. Indeed, Yi Tian was preparing to take action against the world of ferocious beasts corresponding to this 3-star spatial rift. Normally, a 3-star spatial rift would only allow king-level powerhouses to enter, and saint-level and emperor-level individuals could not pass through a 3-star spatial rift. However, in reality, a 3-star spatial rift could be upgraded to a 4-star or even a 5-star spatial rift. It's just that most people didn't know this. But Yi Tian knew. During his time on Silver Universe Star, he had reviewed many documents, including detailed information about spatial rifts. There are many ways to upgrade the level of a spatial rift, one of which is to establish a special spatial array. However, Yi Tian had not studied spatial formations and did not want to waste time on it. The second method is to use spatial talent to expand the spatial rift, but not by forcibly tearing it, as that would incur the backlash of the world's force, just like what happened to Yi Tian before. Expanding with spatial talent involves integrating countless spatial fragments into the spatial rift, allowing it to devour these fragments and grow, eventually reaching the level of a 5-star spatial rift. The maximum a spatial rift within a planet can grow is up to a 5-star level, but that is sufficient. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Saints and emperors arrived at Demon Sea Base, heading straight for the 3-star spatial rift. Regarding the arrival of so many saints and emperors, Yun Mengli, the base master of Demon Sea Base, was quite bewildered. Therefore, he also led many kings from Demon Sea Base to the 3-star spatial rift to understand the situation. Yun Mengli saw a familiar face, his old friend who was only a king level back then but had now become a saint level powerhouse. Li Feng. Yun Mengli communicated through spiritual sense. Li Feng, the saint in question, saw Yun Mengli and flew over. He didn't look down on Yun Mengli, even though Yun Mengli was still a king level, but they were still friends. Yun Mengli, you're here too. Li Feng said, how could I not come? With so many saints and emperors passing through our Demon Sea Base, how could I, as the base master, not come to understand the situation? Yun Mengli said helplessly. He then curiously asked, Li Feng, what's going on? Is something going to happen to this 3-star spatial rift? Li Feng replied seriously, indeed, but the change is not caused by ferocious beasts but by us. We're planning to attack the world of ferocious beasts and plunder its resources. Ah, attack the world of ferocious beasts. Yun Mengli widened his eyes, not understanding the plan. Moreover, this was just a 3-star spatial rift. How could saints and higher-level powerhouses get through? Initially, Yi Tian managed to pass through the 3-star spatial rift using his spatial talent but also suffered from backlash. How can you pass through the 3-star spatial rift? Yun Mengli was puzzled. Of course, we can't, but the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws has a way. Li Feng explained. Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws. Yun Mengli knew who that was, Yi Tian. Yi Tian was once part of Demon Sea Base, but his strength had grown far beyond Yun Mengli's imagination. However, he didn't understand Yi Tian well, knowing only that Yi Tian was very powerful among emperors. After all, he was only a king level, and even though he could log into the virtual world, he had access to very little information. At that moment, a figure teleported in, appearing in front of the numerous emperors. Greetings to the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws. The emperors and saints bowed respectfully. Yi Tian scanned the crowd and then lightly waved his hand, erasing the formation of the 3-star spatial rift. Boom. The 3-star spatial rift, which had been suppressed to a 1-star level, slowly recovered, becoming a true 3-star spatial rift after a while. Everyone, back away, far away. Yi Tian commanded. Yes, everyone backed off, no one daring to object. In an instant, everyone retreated quite a distance. At this moment, Yun Mengli quietly asked, Li Feng, I noticed that some of the emperors here are also leaders of major forces from Zonghai Super Base. Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws is the head of the Tian Pavilion, and everyone should be equals. Why do they seem to respect him so much, almost like subordinates? Li Feng hastily replied, Yun Mengli, be careful with your words, don't let the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws hear you, or else if he doesn't teach you a lesson, others definitely will. How can you compare these ordinary emperors with the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws? They are not on the same level at all. Not on the same level. Yun Mengli didn't understand. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your talent is mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 365, The Disappearance of the Spatial Rift. Emperor level is divided into ordinary emperor level, 1-star emperor level, 2-star emperor level, 3-star emperor level up to 9-star emperor level. Above the 9-star emperor level, there are even stronger tiers, but I am not quite clear about what they entail. However, the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws has surpassed the level above the 9-star emperor level, and other emperors are mere ants in front of him. Li Feng explained earnestly to Yun Mengli. What, the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws is actually that powerful? Yun Mengli was extremely shocked. Li Feng continued, you, being in the small place of the Demon Sea Base, are unaware of many things. You must have heard of the dragon race and other foreign forces before. The foreign forces were once superior to the local forces on Earth, possessing many 8-star and 9-star emperors, and even the most top-tier demigods. Sending out any one of their powerhouses would be enough to sweep through the local forces on our planet, and what we call super bases would be nothing but easily destroyed bases in their eyes. The dragon race, controlling countless ferocious beasts in the oceans, naturally need not mention their strength, as they could easily obliterate all super bases on Earth. Yet, even so, they all died by the hand of the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws alone. The dragon race and the foreign forces are dead. Yun Mengli's pupils shrank sharply. He really hadn't heard this news, but he was aware of the terror of the dragon race and the foreign forces. Once, a dragon from the dragon race flew over the Demon Sea Base, and he was terrified at the time. He later found out that the dragon was just a weak emperor-level being of the dragon race with no significant status, but even that had frightened him immensely. But now, such powerful dragon race and foreign forces were all killed by Yi Tian alone. If it weren't for Li Feng's words, he wouldn't believe it at all. Yes, the high ranks of the foreign forces and the dragon race are all dead. Moreover, it is said that under the help of the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws, many emperors have gained great opportunities, and the strength of many emperors has greatly increased. Now, our Earth has also seen the birth of 8 and 9-star emperors. As for the strength of the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws, it must have become even more powerful. Li Feng said while envying. Yun Mengli fell silent on the side, slowly digesting Li Feng's words just now. At this moment, he was truly stunned. I never thought that Yi Tian has already reached this step, truly the #1 person on Earth. Yun Mengli exclaimed. On the other side, Yi Tian began to expand the spatial rift. He shattered the surrounding space, and then while the space had not yet repaired itself, he mobilized his spatial talent to control those space fragments and poured them into the 3-star level spatial rift. This step required precise control, otherwise, it would accidentally cause spatial turbulence, which would be troublesome. Boom! The 3-star level spatial rift absorbed a large amount of space fragments and slowly began to expand. In a short while, the 3-star level spatial rift absorbed a large number of space fragments and grew to the extent of a 4-star level spatial rift. But at this time, the spatial rifts were fewer, and the newly formed 4-star level spatial rift was also unstable. It needed to absorb more space fragments to stabilize. Thus, Yi Tian repeatedly shattered the surrounding space, controlling a large number of space fragments to merge into the spatial rift. In this way, time slowly passed. When other emperors and saints watched Yi Tian shatter the Earth's space as if he was chopping vegetables, they were extremely shocked. But as they watched more, they got used to it. After a long time, this spatial rift finally grew into a 5-star level spatial rift, but this was not permanent. Even if the spatial rifts on Earth would not disappear, this 5-star level spatial rift could only last for a few days at most, unless Yi continued to merge space fragments into it, otherwise, it would return to the 3-star level. You all go in, remember, you must collect as quickly as possible, I will only give you 1 day, understood? Yi Tian said. Understood. Many emperors and saints said. Immediately, these emperors and saints rushed into the ferocious beast world. In the blink of an eye, these emperors and saints disappeared. Yun Mengli flew over, facing Yi Tian, Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 laws, may I enter this ferocious beast world and collect resources along with them? In Yun Mengli's view, so many emperors and saints were enough to sweep through this ferocious beast world. Following behind them and picking up unwanted treasures would also yield a huge harvest. You may, but your strength is still lacking. If you encounter danger, no one will save you. Yi Tian warned. I understand. Yun Mengli nodded. Immediately, Yun Mengli and some martial warriors from the Demon Sea base entered the Ape Dragon ferocious beast world. Upon hearing the news, other king-level powerhouses also arrived and entered the Ape Dragon ferocious beast world. For a time, the Ape Dragon ferocious beast world became a treasure land that everyone wanted to enter, but it was not a benevolent place. Even with emperors paving the way, dangers were still abundant. Many martial warriors entered the Ape Dragon ferocious beast world and gained a lot of benefits before coming out, but many also remained there forever. Yi Tian indeed had the ability to save those people, but he chose not to. The path was chosen by oneself. If one wished to gain benefits, one must be prepared to pay the price. In the blink of an eye, a day passed, and the emperors and saints returned. In just 1 day, it was unrealistic to want to plunder all the resources of the Ape Dragon ferocious beast world, but the emperors and saints who returned alive all gained a massive amount of resources. Yi Tian was not interested in these resources, so he did not ask for them. He expanded the spatial rift only for the resource development of Zonghai Super Base and Earth, so as not to waste the resources of this ferocious beast world. Afterward, Yi Tian did not continue to expand the spatial rift. After all, there were not a few 5-star level spatial rifts, and those emperors did not lack resources to plunder. Yi Tian, along with Empress Yu, Yi Yu, and Xiao Shui, also entered some 5-star level spatial rifts and plundered many resources, but all were stored in the treasury of the Tian Pavilion and the Moon God sect. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Nearly all the ferocious beast worlds corresponding to the spatial rifts in Huasha were swept clean by the emperors from Huasha, including those top-tier ferocious beast worlds, which were also swept clean by the joint efforts of many 7-star level emperors and above. The emperors from Huasha also conquered some of the ferocious beast worlds corresponding to spatial rifts in the oceans, gaining countless resources. But one day, the earth began to tremble slightly. At this time, people discovered that the spatial rifts were slowly shrinking. In less than a day, those spatial rifts disappeared. The lower-level martial warriors were very excited. Without the spatial rifts, they no longer needed to live in fear, but the high-level emperors regretted the loss of important resources. However, due to Yi Tian's plan, the resources of the major forces in Huasha increased manifold, enough to sustain decades or even 100 years of cultivation. There was no need to worry about the cultivation resources for the disciples within the forces. Other nations, lacking powerful emperors, dared not conquer ferocious beast worlds and could only watch enviously as the emperors from Huasha brought back countless resources from the ferocious beast worlds. In the days that followed, the emperors from Huasha were not idle. Without the threat of ferocious beast worlds, the emperors no longer needed to guard the spatial rifts, allowing more emperors to be mobilized. These emperors, under the leadership of 7, 8, and even 9-star emperors, began to sweep through the ferocious beasts within Huasha's territory. Aside from some forests, mountains, and rivers, the ferocious beasts in other areas were completely eradicated, greatly expanding the land area occupied by humans. Otherwise, with just the area of these bases, the human population could not develop. Now, humans had driven the ferocious beasts back into the forests, mountains, and rivers, allowing for the construction of more human cities. One could imagine that in a few decades, Earth would become incredibly prosperous. Initially, some emperors suggested exterminating all the ferocious beasts on Earth, but Yi Tian stopped this plan. The existence of ferocious beasts keeps martial warriors from becoming complacent. Moreover, the presence of ferocious beasts provided a massive supply of ferocious beast blood, an indispensable resource for martial warriors at the beginning of their cultivation. Even on main planets like Silver Universe Star, there were a large number of ferocious beasts. Worlds without ferocious beasts were those technological planets where cultivation was difficult, and Yi Tian did not wish for Earth to become such a technological planet. In this universe, technology was far inferior to martial arts, and the path of martial arts was the true way. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed since the spatial rifts disappeared. During this year, he spent most of his time with his wife, Empress Yu. And now, he was preparing to leave Earth again. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 366. Super God Level Sword Technique, the Phantom God Sword Technique. Yi Tian had long harbored the idea of leaving Earth, and now, after delaying for a year, he was unwilling to waste any more time. At present, Earth was entirely under human control, with Huasha holding supreme authority over the planet. Additionally, humans from Earth had begun to set foot in other planetary systems. The interstellar teleportation array on the moon was shared by Yi Tian, allowing some Emperor-level beings to leave the solar system by using the teleportation array. Yi Tian was not afraid of the solar system coming into contact with other planetary systems because the solar system was allocated under his name, and other forces in the Milky Way would not dare to disrupt it. Moreover, his identity as a peerless heavenly pride was enough to suppress everything. Even the Flame Sect, which bore grudges against him, did not dare to harm the solar system, as no force would want to endure the wrath of a peerless heavenly pride. Only a peerless heavenly pride could stand against another, and Yi Tian, now a 7-star peerless heavenly pride, could easily crush other 6-star heavenly prides. Should any peerless heavenly pride seek trouble with him, he would not hesitate to eliminate them. This time, Yi Tian was not leaving alone, he was leaving with someone else, his wife, Empress Yu, intending to enter Silver Universe Star with her. With his status as a heavenly pride, having an Emperor-level individual join Silver Universe Star was well within his capabilities. The reason he took his wife was that he did not want to be separated from her for too long, and Empress Yu also did not wish to stay on Earth by herself. Furthermore, Empress Yu's strength was not weak, and upon entering Silver Universe Star, Yi Tian could definitely train her to become a heavenly pride. Training a heavenly pride is something others could not guarantee, but Yi Tian could. Yi Tian's copy talent possessed the ability of seizure and bestowal. He could strip enemies of their talents and bestow them upon Empress Yu. With many powerful talents, it would not be difficult for Empress Yu to become a heavenly pride. On this day, Yi Tian completely handed over the Tian Pavilion on Earth to his sister, Yi Yu, and entrusted the Glory Temple to help take care of the Tian Pavilion. Then, he left Earth with Empress Yu, departing the solar system through the interstellar teleportation array. After several transfers, Yi Tian and Empress Yu finally arrived at Silver Universe Star. At a spaceport on Silver Universe Star, Empress Yu stepped off the cosmic spaceship and was immediately astonished by the vastness of Silver Universe Star, exclaiming, "My husband, Silver Universe Star is so vast. Earth is simply like a tiny broken planet compared to it." Yi Tian smiled and said, "The Milky Way contains countless planetary systems, and the solar system is just one small system within it. Earth is merely one planet in the solar system, only becoming a high-level planet only because of the revival of Yuan Qi. Otherwise, Earth would be insignificant in the universe. Silver Universe Star, being one of the 9 major stars of the Milky Way, is incomparable to Earth." Indeed, Empress Yu agreed with Yi Tian's words and nodded repeatedly. The two then took the teleportation array from the spaceport to Qingfeng Giant City. Upon entering Qingfeng Giant City, Empress Yu was shocked by the strength of the martial warriors there. On Earth, Emperor-level beings were considered peak powerhouses, but here, Emperors seemed quite common, and she even sensed the divine aura emanating from several individuals, clearly indicating they were God-level warriors. At that moment, Empress Yu truly understood the strength of Silver Universe Star in the Milky Way. This was just one giant city, yet there were so many Emperor-level beings visible on the streets, showing that Emperor-level was just a mid-level rank on Silver Universe Star. Soon, Yi Tian brought Empress Yu back to his place in Qingfeng Giant City. In the following days, Yi Tian took Empress Yu around Qingfeng Giant City, and obtained Silver Universe Star identity tokens, officially becoming members of Silver Universe Star. Moreover, Yi Tian introduced a few friends to Empress Yu to ensure she had company. Among the friends he introduced were Lu Qingyi and Qin Zixuan. Empress Yu, Lu Qingyi, and Qin Zixuan hit it off quite well and quickly became good friends. Seeing that Empress Yu had officially integrated into life on Silver Universe Star, Yi Tian began planning for his future cultivation path. Yi Tian's first goal was to cultivate a super god-level sword technique. He browsed the Heavenly Pride Pavilion's points mall and found a suitable super god level sword technique, the Phantom God Sword Technique. The Phantom God Sword Technique, a technique that involves spatial elements, could penetrate through space, allowing it to strike down an enemy even if they were hidden within the fabric of space itself. Moreover, the Phantom God Sword Technique could pulverize every cell of an enemy. Once it struck an opponent's body, if their physical body was relatively weak, all their cells would disintegrate instantaneously due to the Phantom God Sword Chi. It could be said that the Phantom God Sword Technique was an extremely powerful and terrifying technique. Even heavenly prides with healing talents could be slain by the Phantom God Sword Chi, with no chance of recovery. Of course, given the Phantom God Sword Technique's immense power, its value was also considerable, requiring 100 points. 100 points in the Heavenly Pride Pavilion was not a small sum. Even the opportunity for a planet's birth was only worth 500 points, and very few heavenly prides could gather 100 points. However, a sword technique like the Phantom God Sword Technique could become the foundation of a top-tier power, its value immeasurable. If it were available in the outside world, it would simply be unattainable. The Heavenly Pride Pavilion's decision to offer this super god-level sword technique, even for 100 points, was absolutely worth the price. I currently don't have a single point, so to purchase the Phantom God Sword Technique, I must challenge the Heavenly Pride Tower. Yi Tian resolved. Before, he had conquered the second level of the Heavenly Pride Tower and obtained 200 points. Once he breached the third level of the Heavenly Pride Tower, he would gain 400 points, and if he could get through the fourth level, he would receive 800 points. That is, Yi Tian only needed to surpass the fourth level of the Heavenly Pride Tower to acquire 120 points, enough to purchase the Super God level sword technique, the Phantom God Sword Technique. The third level of the Heavenly Pride Tower corresponded to 4-star Heavenly Prides, and the fourth level to 5-star Heavenly Prides, while Yi Tian was a 7-star Heavenly Pride, capable of even surpassing the 6th level if he so wished. Thus, a mere 100 points were nothing to him. Yi Tian entered the virtual world and applied to challenge the Heavenly Pride Tower. Soon, Yi Tian entered the third level of the Heavenly Pride Tower, and the challenge began. The virtual opponent of the third level appeared, and with a movement of Yi Tian's hand, he executed the Ghost Sword Technique. With a whoosh, he decapitated the opponent with a single stroke, the opponent dissipating into nothingness, challenge successful. On the fourth level of the Heavenly Pride Tower, Yi Tian faced the virtual opponent of the fourth level and still managed to kill the opponent with a single move, successfully conquering the fourth level. By then, he had already accumulated 120 points, but Yi Tian continued to the fifth level. On the fifth level, Yi Tian was slightly more cautious and took some effort to kill the opponent, passing the fifth level and obtaining 160 points. Thus, Yi Tian's total points reached 280 points. For Yi Tian to consecutively conquer the third, fourth, and fifth levels of the Heavenly Pride Tower was almost unprecedented. His strength had soared. Other Heavenly Prides, even if they wished to enhance their strength by 1 star, would likely need a long time. Yi Tian did not continue to the fifth level of the Heavenly Pride Tower, as he was not yet ready to reveal the strength of a 7-star peerless Heavenly Pride. After obtaining 280 points, Yi Tian immediately purchased the Super God level sword technique, the Phantom God Sword Technique. After deducting 100 points, Yi Tian still had 160 points remaining. He did not continue to spend these 160 points, as he had not yet decided what to purchase and planned to save them for the time being. Afterwards, Yi Tian went to the Heavenly Pride Pavilion branch and collected the inheritance orb of the Super God level sword technique, the Phantom God Sword Technique. In the following time, Yi Tian devoted himself to comprehending the realm of the Sword Dao, attempting to elevate his Sword Dao realm from 50% to 51%. With Yi Tian's current Dawn-level swordsmanship talent and top-tier comprehension talent, elevating the Sword Dao realm from 50% to 51% would still take some time, especially since there was no opportunity for a planet's birth at the moment. But then, good news arrived. The Heavenly Sword Secret Realm was about to open again. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 367, 8-Star Peerless Heavenly Pride. Yi Tian was well aware of the benefits of the Heavenly Sword Secret Realm. The Heavenly Sword Steel within the Secret Realm could significantly enhance one's comprehension of the Sword Dao. Once Yi Tian entered the Heavenly Sword Secret Realm, he could definitely elevate his Sword Dao realm from 50% to 51%, and possibly even reach 52%, within a month. The Heavenly Sword Secret Realm required only 30 points to purchase an entry spot, and Yi Tian quickly secured one for himself. On the day the Heavenly Sword secret realm opened, Yi Tian arrived at the designated area. Upon his arrival, many greeted him. After all, his fame was immense, being one of the two peerless heavenly prides of Silver Universe Star. Since Yi Tian arrived early and the secret realm hadn't opened yet, he waited outside. Suddenly, a terrifying aura approached from the distance, and a young man in a purple robe appeared before everyone. Seeing this young man, many gods and true gods respectfully greeted him, saying, "Greetings to the purple sword true god." From the title alone, it was clear that this young man was a true god. Given the respect he commanded from other true gods, his strength among them must be terrifying indeed. Yi Tian became interested in this person, particularly in his talent in swordsmanship. This true god's renown suggested that his swordsmanship talent might be at the dawn level. Yi Tian was just one dawn level swordsmanship talent away from elevating his own to a new level, so he was eager to copy one. Upon the purple sword true god's arrival and seeing that the secret realm had not yet opened, he too waited in midair. Yi Tian slowly approached within a kilometer of the purple sword true god and then used his talent copying ability to check his talents. Human, Kong Ming, cultivation talent, desolate level, strength talent, mystic, defense talent, mystic, speed talent, mystic, purple light talent, god level, swordsmanship talent, dawn level. Indeed, a dawn level swordsmanship talent. Yi Tian was thrilled and immediately copied the purple sword true god's dawn level swordsmanship talent. Half a day passed, and the heavenly sword secret realm finally opened. One by one, martial warriors flew into the secret realm, and Yi Tian followed suit. Upon entering the heavenly sword secret realm, Yi Tian didn't immediately head to the central heavenly sword steel. Instead, he flew to a random spot and landed on the ground. He planned to integrate the newly copied dawn-level swordsmanship talent before heading to the steel. Integrate. Without hesitation, Yi Tian began the integration. Immediately, intense pain surged through his body. Yi Tian endured in silence, knowing his swordsmanship talent was evolving. Despite the agony, he persevered. About half an hour later, the pain gradually subsided. By then, the integration of the dawn-level swordsmanship talent was successful. Yi Tian eagerly checked his swordsmanship talent. Swordsmanship talent, supreme level. Seeing this supreme level swordsmanship talent, Yi Tian couldn't help but smile excitedly. Ha ha ha, with this supreme level swordsmanship talent, I can use the heavenly sword steel to greatly enhance my sword Dao realm this time. Yi Tian exclaimed excitedly. After resting for a while, Yi Tian flew towards the center of the heavenly sword secret realm. Upon his arrival, others had already begun their comprehension. So, Yi Tian casually found a large rock, sat on it, and started to comprehend the sword Dao realm with the help of the heavenly sword steel. 10 times time acceleration, top-tier comprehension talent activated. With these two talents, along with the heavenly sword steel and Yi Tian's newly elevated supreme swordsmanship talent, his comprehension speed was incredibly fast. Days passed, and in just 4 days, Yi Tian successfully elevated his 50% sword Dao realm to 51%. On the 9th day, Yi Tian elevated his 51% sword Dao realm to 52%. On the 15th day, Yi Tian elevated his 52% sword Dao realm to 53%. On the 22nd day, Yi Tian successfully elevated his 53% sword Dao realm to 54%. Finally, the day came when the heavenly sword secret realm was about to close. As the heavenly sword secret realm was about to close, Yi Tian successfully elevated his 54% sword Dao realm to 55%. Reaching a 55% sword Dao realm, Yi Tian could even cultivate any super god level sword technique to the introductory level, and he could cultivate the phantom god sword technique to the minor accomplishment realm. Thus, the gains from this visit to the heavenly sword secret realm far exceeded his expectations. Of course, Yi Tian knew that his significant achievements were due to integrating a dawn-level swordsmanship talent, which transformed his own talent into a supreme-level swordsmanship talent. Otherwise, he could have at most elevated his sword Dao realm to 52%. As the heavenly sword secret realm was closing, everyone left, and Yi Tian, after departing the heavenly sword secret realm, returned to Qingfeng Giant City. Back in the city, he focused on cultivating the phantom god sword technique. He paid great attention to this super god level sword technique because mastering it would enhance his strength significantly. By then, he could transcend the barriers of 7-star and 8-star peerless heavenly prides, successfully becoming an 8-star peerless heavenly pride. Time passed, and with his supreme level swordsmanship talent, Yi Tian cultivated sword techniques very quickly. Although the Phantom God Sword technique was challenging to cultivate, Yi Tian managed to reach the introductory level within just 20 days. On the day he successfully cultivated the Phantom God Sword technique, Yi Tian broke through the barriers and became an 8-star Peerless Heavenly Pride. However, at this point, Yi Tian was at the bottom among the 8-star Peerless Heavenly Prides. After all, he had only barely reached the 8-star Peerless Heavenly Pride status. Yi Tian continued to cultivate the Phantom God Sword technique and, with his efforts, managed to reach the minor accomplishment realm in another month. The Phantom God Sword technique at the minor accomplishment realm significantly boosted Yi Tian's strength. One day, Yi Tian discovered a god-level powerhouse with a dawn-level swordsmanship talent in Qingfeng Giant City. He secretly copied the other's dawn-level swordsmanship talent. He copied this dawn-level swordsmanship talent not for himself, as he already possessed a supreme-level swordsmanship talent, making the dawn-level talent somewhat redundant. He did it for his wife, Empress Yu, whose swordsmanship talent was only at the top level, making it difficult to elevate. Therefore, Yi Tian planned to copy a dawn-level swordsmanship talent and then use his talent-copying ability to strip his own swordsmanship talent and bestow it upon Empress Yu. This method was absolutely feasible. He could continuously copy talents, so even if he stripped his own dawn-level swordsmanship talent, it wouldn't affect him. This method was the simplest. Otherwise, he would have to find an enemy with a dawn-level swordsmanship talent, capture them, and strip their talent, which would be too troublesome. If it were about bestowing a cultivation talent, he would definitely strip someone else's talent. After all, he couldn't strip his own cultivation talent, otherwise, it would be too difficult for him to copy another Hong-level cultivation talent. But swordsmanship talent was different, he didn't need it, so even if he gave it to Empress Yu, it wouldn't matter, which is why he thought of using his talent-copying ability to strip his own swordsmanship talent. Seizure. Yi Tian used his talent-copying ability to seize, and the dawn-level swordsmanship talent within his soul was slowly stripped and stored. Then, Yi Tian specifically chose a herb resembling a sword as a precious material and called Empress Yu over. "Yuer, this is a precious treasure I found for you. It can enhance your swordsmanship talent. Just eat it," Yi Tian said. Really? Empress Yu was surprised and excited. Top-level swordsmanship talent was considered quite good on Earth, but after arriving at Silver Universe Star, it seemed quite ordinary. If she could enhance her swordsmanship talent, her strength would significantly increase. So, Empress Yu didn't hesitate to consume the unknown spiritual item, and Yi Tian took the opportunity to bestow the dawn-level swordsmanship talent upon her. Instantly, Empress Yu's swordsmanship talent began to transform. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 368, Re-entering the Ancient God Ruins. After a long while, Empress Yu opened her eyes. At this moment, she was extremely exhausted. After all, merging the bestowed swordsmanship talent was no easy task. But she had succeeded in merging them. Yi Tian used his copy talent to check Empress Yu's talent status, and saw that her swordsmanship talent had changed. Swordsmanship talent, Dawn level. Empress Yu's swordsmanship talent had been elevated from top tier to Dawn level in an instant. This meant that in the future, Empress Yu could cultivate legendary sword techniques, god-level sword techniques, and even super god-level sword techniques. For Empress Yu, this was a tremendous transformation. Her strength could definitely increase rapidly. Moreover, having broken through her 16th physical limit, as long as she could enhance her sword techniques, her strength would see a significant surge. In addition, Yi Tian could bestow upon Empress Yu other powerful talents in the future, making it no difficult feat for her to become a heavenly pride. Of course, this process wouldn't be completed in a short period of time, as turning talent into strength also required time. In the following days, Yi Tian devoted himself to rigorous cultivation, mainly focusing on the Tao of the sword, the Claw Tao, and the Palm Tao. Occasionally, he would delve into the mysteries of space, though the results were not very significant. In fact, Yi Tian was at a bottleneck, currently an 8-star Peerless Heavenly Pride. Advancing further was incredibly difficult. Without a significant opportunity, even 100 or 500 years of cultivation might not suffice to advance to a 9-star Peerless Heavenly Pride. Thus, Yi Tian needed to seek out significant opportunities to rapidly enhance his strength. But such opportunities were not easily found. If they were, everyone could become a heavenly pride. Half a year had passed without much improvement in Yi Tian's strength. On the other hand, Empress Yu, not lacking in resources and with her swordsmanship talent elevated to Dawn level, aided by a 6-star wondrous sword Dao steel, was progressing swiftly in her sword Dao cultivation. She had already begun to cultivate god-level sword techniques. In terms of combat power, Empress Yu was also at a 9-star emperor level, albeit on the weaker side among them. How can I find a great opportunity? Yi Tian was quite troubled at this moment. Suddenly, he thought of the ancient god ruins. Initially, he had acquired an unnamed physical secret technique from the ruins but had left afterwards without continuing further. Undoubtedly, the ancient god ruins were a place of great opportunity. Perhaps it's time to visit the ancient god ruins again, Yi Tian thought to himself. Back then, he had dared to enter the ancient god ruins as merely a 2-star heavenly pride. Now, as an 8-star heavenly pride, he was many times more formidable than before. With his 8-star heavenly pride strength, defeating a 6-star peerless heavenly pride would not be a problem. Although the ancient god ruins were dangerous, they might not be able to stop him, and he could potentially enter the grand temple within the ruins directly. Inside the ancient god ruins, just one peculiar space had brought significant gains. If he could enter that grand temple, the rewards could be immense. However, he needed to first understand the current situation of the ancient god ruins. Afterwards, Yi Tian entered the forum section of the Heavenly Pride Pavilion virtual world and browsed through the posts of other heavenly prides. These heavenly prides must have discussed the ancient god ruins, so he could glean some basic information from here. Soon, Yi Tian found many posts about the ancient god ruins and read through them. As expected, there were peerless heavenly prides who entered the ruins later. Yi Tian mused. From these posts, Yi Tian learned that the heavenly pride Qingzan had entered the ancient god ruins. The specific gains were unclear to everyone, but it was known that Qingzan was injured and had not yet recovered. Additionally, a recent event had occurred in the Milky Way galaxy. The peerless heavenly pride who had been chased by the 3 major peerless heavenly prides had returned to the galaxy and seemed to have re-entered the ancient god ruins. The 3 major peerless heavenly prides had also returned and had ceased their pursuit of that peerless heavenly pride, for reasons unknown. Perhaps an agreement had been reached between the parties, or other forces had intervened. Scorpio heavenly pride has returned and re-entered the ancient god ruins. It seems the allure of the ancient god ruins is irresistible even to peerless heavenly prides. Yi Tian marveled. Scorpio heavenly pride was the peerless heavenly pride who had fled from being hunted. Initially, Scorpio had acquired a secret physical cultivation technique, and now he wanted to enter the ancient god ruins again, undoubtedly for the treasures within the temple. After pondering for a while, Yi Tian decided to enter the ancient god ruins once more. Compared to other heavenly prides, not only was his strength formidable, but he also had numerous life-saving measures. If he still hesitated to re-enter the ancient god ruins, it would be overly cautious. Moreover, if he wished to become a child of the universe, not taking risks was practically impossible. Yi Tian informed Empress Yu and then set off from Silver Universe Star. This time, Yi Tian did not conceal his movements. Instead, he entered the ancient god ruins in his true form. Having broken through his 19th physical limit, if he wanted to use the soul transfer talent to occupy an emperor-level body, he must possess a body that had broken through the 19th physical limit to unleash his true strength. Unfortunately, it was estimated that such an emperor-level individual who had broken through the 19th physical limit could not be found in the Milky Way galaxy. Therefore, Yi Tian had no choice but to enter the ancient god ruins in his true form to fully unleash his strongest power. Furthermore, as an 8-star peerless heavenly pride, Yi Tian hardly had any rivals, so why should he be so cautious? Therefore, he didn't even use his disguise talent and went directly to the Tunjiang planetary system. Tunjiang planetary system. Yi Tian arrived at the ancient god ruins, and this news was spread by many emperors. Many major forces knew that Yi Tian, the heavenly emperor of 10,000 laws, had come to the ancient god ruins, intending to enter. The entry of a peerless heavenly pride into the ancient god ruins was naturally a sensational event. When Yi Tian arrived at the ancient god ruins, he saw that there were many fewer emperors here than before. It was evident that since most of the true god ruins had been thoroughly plundered, the number of emperors willing to take the risk had significantly decreased. As for the ancient god ruins, who would dare to enter if not at the heavenly pride level? Even a 9-star emperor would undoubtedly die once inside the ancient god ruins. One would enter only to die. The emperors weren't foolish enough to throw their lives away for nothing. Whoosh! Yi Tian flew directly into the ancient god ruins. Passing through the light screen, he entered the interior of the ancient god ruins. At that moment, he saw the immensely huge temple radiating infinite oppressive might, and the phantom of an ancient god still standing there, its gaze seemingly overlooking him. The stronger one's strength, the more one could sense the terror of this ancient god. Let alone a true god, even a great god-level powerhouse was far from being a match for this ancient god. To this day, Yi Tian was still unclear about the true strength of this ancient god. In any case, this ancient god was terrifying. Yi Tian walked up the stone steps, soon encountering one killing formation after another. Now, these killing formations posed no threat to him at all, and he easily passed through them. Originally, Yi Tian thought he might be transported again to the Moro tribe's peculiar space, but he was disappointed. When he crossed the stone steps where he had been transported last time, nothing happened. Clearly, one could only enter a peculiar space once, and since he had already entered a peculiar space before, he could not enter it again. However, there were undoubtedly many peculiar spaces along the way, so Yi Tian didn't need to worry about not being able to enter any. As expected, after passing through a few more killing formations, Yi Tian suddenly sensed a teleportation force surging towards him. Even as an 8-star peerless heavenly pride, Yi Tian was still powerless to resist and was transported away. The next moment, he found himself in a new peculiar space. Immediately, Yi Tian activated his invisibility. Although invisibility couldn't deceive god-level powerhouses, it could fool emperors. As long as he could deceive the emperors, that was sufficient. Swoosh! Yi Tian swiftly left, not daring to linger here. He urgently needed to find the dwelling places of other races and then understand the situation in this peculiar space. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your talent is mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 369. The Golden Armor Clan, Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. At the moment when Yi Tian was just about to leave, a voice echoed in his ear. Survive for 10 days or kill 10 Emperor-level beings, and then you can leave this place. Clearly, the assessment rules of this otherworldly space were similar to the previous Moro clan's otherworldly space. Whoosh! Yi Tian flew away. Before long, Yi Tian encountered an Emperor-level powerhouse. This Emperor-level powerhouse bore some resemblance to humans but was definitely not a human. His skin exhibited a pale golden color, as if he were clad in a suit of golden armor. However, that was definitely not armor but a part of his body. Whoosh! Yi Tian's copy talent enveloped the other, examining his talents. Golden Armor Clan, Iron Mang. Cultivation Talent, Moonlight Level. Strength Talent, Mystic. Speed Talent, Pseudo-Mystic 80%. Defense Talent, Pseudo-Mystic 30%. Palm Technique Talent, Morning Star. Golden Armor Talent, Top Tier. Yi Tian, upon seeing the talents of this Emperor-level being, immediately knew what clan this was. The Golden Armor Clan, I've never heard of them. Yi Tian had limited interactions with other clans, so he was completely unaware of many other clans. Besides the human clan, there were many other clans in the universe, and who knew where this Golden Armor Clan came from. The appearance of a Golden Armor Clan Emperor-level being here indicates that this otherworldly space holds prisoners of the Golden Armor Clan. Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he deactivated his invisibility talent and instantly used his disguise talent to transform into a Golden Armor Clan Emperor-level being. Whoosh! Yi Tian teleported in front of the Golden Armor Clan Emperor-level being and, without a word, directly used his hypnosis talent to hypnotize the other party. This Emperor-level being was not very strong, having only broken through his physical limits 6 times, and thus was easily hypnotized by Yi Tian. Immediately after, Yi Tian began to interrogate the Emperor-level being. Soon, he had a general understanding of this otherworldly space. This otherworldly space indeed belonged to the Golden Armor Clan, which was very powerful here. From the information Yi Tian gathered, the Golden Armor Clan had over a dozen god-level beings and more than 500 Emperor-level beings in this otherworldly space. Additionally, the Golden Armor Clan had a heavenly pride. Yes, a heavenly pride. In such a resource-scarce otherworldly space, the Golden Armor Clan had managed to cultivate a heavenly pride. As for how they managed to do it, this Emperor-level being named Iron Mang obviously didn't know. He even believed it was due to the high talent of that heavenly pride that he could become one. But Yi Tian was very clear that in a resource-scarce otherworldly space, without some fortune, becoming a heavenly pride was not that simple. Yi Tian also inquired about the temple, and as he had guessed, this otherworldly space also had a small temple. Every few years, the Golden Armor Clan would send powerful Emperor-level clan members into the temple. As for what treasures the Golden Armor Clan obtained from the temple, this Emperor-level being was not clear. It seemed the Golden Armor Clan did not disclose the specifics, keeping it tightly sealed. Furthermore, Yi Tian learned that there indeed were otherworldly spaces with heavenly prides in the past, and 2 heavenly prides were killed by the Golden Armor clan. As for the other heavenly prides, they had all disappeared, obviously having escaped. However, in recent years, the Golden Armor clan had lost quite a few Emperor-level beings, so they were very strict in their investigation of outsiders. All the cities of the Golden Armor clan were equipped with formations that could detect clan members' bloodlines. Once someone who was not from the Golden Armor clan entered the city, they would be immediately detected. At that time, a god-level powerhouse from the Golden Armor clan would come over. The Golden Armor clan actually has a formation that can detect bloodlines. In this case, my disguise talent won't allow me to enter the city. Yi Tian frowned. The disguise talent could only mimic appearance and aura, but it couldn't possibly create a bloodline out of thin air. That was unrealistic. For example, even though he was disguised as a member of the Golden Armor clan, he did not possess the bloodline of the Golden Armor clan. At his core, he was still human. At this moment, Yi Tian was also quite relieved that he had first encountered an Emperor-level being and obtained specific information from him. Otherwise, if he had directly entered a city, he might have had to face a god-level being soon after. With his current strength, he didn't need to fear ordinary god-level beings, but he was wary of some extremely powerful god-level beings. If he encountered such a god-level being, he definitely wouldn't be a match. After asking many more questions and not being able to extract any more information, Yi Tian killed the Emperor-level being. After killing the Emperor-level being, Yi Tian quickly left. Not long after, a god-level powerhouse from the Golden Armor clan arrived at the scene. When he saw Iron Meng's corpse, his face was filled with anger. Another foreign human heavenly pride. The god-level powerhouse of the Golden Armor clan roared in fury. Shortly after learning of the intrusion of an external human, he began searching for traces of the human heavenly pride. Unexpectedly, it wasn't long before news came from within the clan that an Emperor-level member had perished. For the Golden Armor clan, which didn't have many at the Emperor level, the loss of even one was painful, and the recent consecutive losses of Emperor-level members were a heavy blow to the clan. Atop a mountain within the Golden Armor clan's otherworldly space, Yi Tian was taking a temporary rest. At this moment, he was devising a plan. The Golden Armor clan has formations capable of detecting bloodlines. Perhaps such formations are also placed near the temple, guarded by powerful god-level beings, making it impossible for even peerless heavenly prides to break in. I suspect the peerless heavenly prides who came here either hid for 10 days or killed 10 Emperor-level beings to leave. Yi Tian speculated. Hiding for 10 days wouldn't be difficult for him, but he didn't want to just hide. He wanted to enter the temple, where significant gains might be possible. Not to mention anything else, if he could learn another secret technique for physical enhancement, that would also be a great gain. Suddenly, Yi Tian sensed a dangerous aura and quickly disguised himself as an ordinary king-level member of the Golden Armor clan. The next moment, a powerful divine consciousness swept through the area, obviously paying no attention to him as a king-level Golden Armor clan member. A god-level Golden Armor clan member. Yi Tian recognized the identity of the owner of this divine consciousness. Clearly, the god-level powerhouses of the Golden Armor clan were mobilized and were searching for his whereabouts. Meanwhile, within a grand city of the Golden Armor clan, in a magnificent hall, a young man emerged from seclusion. This young man was the only heavenly pride of the Golden Armor clan, Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. Upon learning that a human heavenly pride had entered this otherworldly space, he became eager to act. He couldn't leave this otherworldly space, and no other Emperor-level members within the clan were a match for him, so naturally, he wanted to find an opponent for a spar. Previously, he had been in seclusion, missing the opportunity when human heavenly prides entered their otherworldly space. This time, he didn't want to miss out again. But as he was about to leave the city, a god-level powerhouse appeared before him. Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, you cannot go out. The god-level powerhouse warned. Iron Long, you want to stop me? Humph, you may be at the god level, but you're just a 5-star emperor who recently broke through. I am a 5-star heavenly pride. In terms of strength, you're not even my match. What right do you have to stop me? Iron Battle Heavenly Pride retorted sarcastically. God Iron Long didn't dare to argue back, but still said, recently, a human heavenly pride has come, and we're not clear about their strength. You are our clan's only heavenly pride and have the potential to become a 6-star peerless heavenly pride. If you become a 6-star peerless heavenly pride and pass the temple's test, our clan might have a chance to leave this otherworldly space. You know the importance of yourself. What if that human heavenly pride is a peerless heavenly pride? You think I am not a match for that human heavenly pride? Humph, Iron Battle, fear no one. Besides, I have ways to save my life. Even if I encounter a human 6-star peerless heavenly pride, I am confident in keeping myself alive. Moreover, this otherworldly space is only so big, and our clan's god-level powerhouses will soon arrive. Are we afraid of a single human heavenly pride? Iron Battle Heavenly Pride said so. I'll go out of the city with you. God Iron Long suggested. No need, your strength isn't even comparable to mine. If we really encounter that human heavenly pride, you might even slow me down. Iron Battle Heavenly Pride didn't forget to mock. Hearing this, God Iron Long felt uncomfortable as well. Go if you want to. God Iron Long waved his sleeve and turned to leave, not caring about Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. In fact, he didn't believe Iron Battle Heavenly Pride would encounter any trouble. Moreover, with Iron Battle Heavenly Pride's occasional mockery, following him would only result in getting scolded, so it was better not to follow. After God Iron Long left, Iron Battle Heavenly Pride stepped out of the Grand City and transformed into a streak of light, flying high in the sky. At the same time, his divine consciousness scanned the surroundings, searching for traces of the human heavenly pride. However, he had no idea of the terrifying heavenly pride he was about to encounter. Hi everyone, it's the translator Etude here. If you're reading on a pirate aggregator website, please consider supporting me by reading on Etude translations. Thank you. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. Chapter 370, Divine Ability of the Metal Element, an Unexpected Gain. Iron Battle Heavenly Pride roamed this unique space in search of traces of human heavenly prides, and this matter quickly spread. After all, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was too famous, and almost all the slightly stronger members of the Golden Armor race recognized him. On the other side, Yi Tian captured a saint-level warrior of the Golden Armor race. He initially wanted to capture an Emperor-level Golden Armor being, but it seemed that the Emperor-level ones had received the news and all hid inside various cities. Since he dared not appear inside the cities, he could only target a saint-level being. However, this time he interrogated an important piece of intelligence from the mouth of this saint-level Golden Armor being. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride of the Golden Armor race is looking for me. Yi Tian was somewhat surprised. His first thought was that it was a trap, but then he thought it unlikely. The Golden Armor race had deployed god-level warriors, there was no need to use a heavenly pride as bait. Moreover, human heavenly prides entering this unique space were not here to assassinate heavenly prides of other races, so the notion of a trap did not exist at all. That left only one possibility. Did they want to kill me? Heavenly prides all had their pride. Yi Tian thought that perhaps the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, having no opponents in this unique space, wanted to compete with other heavenly prides and thus came looking for him. For Yi Tian, this was an opportunity. If the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had been in one of the giant cities, it would have been difficult for Yi Tian to find him. But now that he had come out, Yi Tian could capture him instantly, even before the god-level powerhouses could come to his aid. With the status of the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, he must know many more secrets than that Iron Mang. Swoosh! Yi Tian also took action, starting to search for the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. Finding the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was not difficult. The latter would search a certain area every few hours, and Yi Tian, using his hypnosis talent to gather intelligence, soon pinpointed the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride's location. Found him. Yi Tian's gaze turned towards the distance, where a young member of the Golden Armor race was standing in midair, his divine consciousness scanning the surroundings, with quite a few Golden Armor beings watching around. This young man was the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride of the Golden Armor race. Soon, after the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride finished surveying this area, he prepared to leave. And Yi Tian, after confirming through his insight eye talent that there were no hidden god-level powerhouses in this area, only the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was present. Yi Tian disguised himself as a human, so as not to expose the secret of his disguise talent. Otherwise, if he transformed into the appearance of a Golden Armor being to capture the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, even a fool would know he possessed the disguise talent. Teleport. Yi Tian instantly moved close to the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. Human Heavenly Pride. Upon seeing Yi Tian, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was extremely excited, his body surging with the will to fight, ready to make a move. At that moment, Yi Tian executed the Super God level palm technique Zumi Palm, pressing down with a palm. Whoosh! In just an instant, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was captured by Yi Tian and taken into the Zumi realm within the Zumi Palm, completely trapped in the Zumi realm. Let's go. Yi Tian teleported away, vanishing into the horizon. At this moment, the nearby golden armor beings started to panic. Not good, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride has been taken by a human. How could this happen? That human is clearly only at the Emperor level, and the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride is a Heavenly Pride. How could he be captured so easily? That person must be a peerless Heavenly Pride. He captured the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. Quick, inform the God-level masters. Before long, one God-level powerhouse after another arrived. The leader among them was the Golden Desolation God of the Golden Armor race, a very powerful God-level powerhouse. He was once a Heavenly Pride and later became a God-level powerhouse. It could be said that he alone could sweep through all the other God-level members of the Golden Armor race. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had life-saving means, yet he was captured. The Golden Desolation God frowned, almost unable to believe the outcome. Golden Desolation God, it's probably because that person's methods are bizarre. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride probably didn't even have time to activate his life-saving means before he was captured and taken away. Another God-level being said, "Let's go, quickly return to our race and use the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride's soul lamp for secret tracking. Otherwise, if we're too late, his life will be in danger." The Golden Desolation God said urgently. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The God-level beings all flew towards the ancestral land of the Golden Armor race. The life of the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was too important, it was related to whether their race could escape this unique space. If the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride died, they were unsure if they could cultivate another 5-star Heavenly Pride. They must rescue the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride at all costs. On the other hand, Yi Tian casually entered a forest and then threw the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride out from the Zumi realm. He severely injured the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, and then Yi Tian directly forced him into hypnosis. No, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride tried to resist Yi Tian's hypnosis, but the difference in the strength of their souls was too great, and since he was seriously injured, he couldn't block Yi Tian's hypnosis talent at all. Soon, he was completely hypnotized. Then, Yi Tian began to rapidly ask a series of questions. He was very clear that he didn't have much time to interrogate. The Golden Armor race definitely had a way to find the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. If he delayed even a little, and the God-level beings of the Golden Armor race arrived, he would be in big trouble. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride answered Yi Tian's questions one by one, revealing everything while hypnotized. Soon, Yi Tian had a complete understanding of the basic situation. Firstly, the temple in the unique space of the Golden Armor race was special, containing many inheritances and treasures, but one needed to complete corresponding assessments. The assessments were not about fighting corpses or puppets but had bizarre requirements. Most of them were not dangerous, with only a very few being highly dangerous. And one person only had one opportunity to enter the temple in their lifetime, similar to the rules of the temple in the unique space of the Moro race. But what truly shocked Yi Tian was another piece of news, how the Golden Armor race birthed a Heavenly Pride, and a 5-star Heavenly Pride at that. The temple contributed to this, but more so was the foundation of the Golden Armor race itself. The Golden Armor race possessed a divine ability inheritance, specifically a metal element divine ability. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had mastered this divine ability, combined with his high talent and the combat power from breaking through the 17th physical limit, becoming a 5-star Heavenly Pride. This metal element divine ability was named Golden Threads. The name Golden Threads might sound simple, but this metal element divine ability was anything but. According to what Yi Tian found out, this divine ability was probably even more terrifying than the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. Once the Golden Thread's divine ability was activated, a thin golden thread would appear and instantly slice towards the enemy. Its speed was incredibly fast, and it was extremely sharp, capable of slicing even Heavenly Prides with astonishing defensive abilities in half in an instant. Of course, the more powerful a divine ability, the harder it is to cultivate. It required not only a god-level metal element talent but also 3 metal element treasures. These 3 metal element treasures were extremely precious, even more rare and unusual than Fire God Crystal, Fire Dragon God Stone, Million-Year Fire Spirit Marrow, and 7th Order Strange Fire. These 3 metal element treasures were Tiangong God Stone, Hell Refining God Stone, and Desolate Primordial Gold Stone. Yi Tian had never heard of these 3 treasures before. The Golden Armor race didn't possess them either. But coincidentally, these 3 items were inside that temple. After generations of effort, the Golden Armor race finally obtained these 3 items from the temple. However, the only one who met the cultivation requirements and succeeded was the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride. Not only that, but the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had also cultivated this divine ability to the pinnacle of the introductory stage, just one step away from the minor achievement stage. Unfortunately, he encountered Yi Tian, and his life would inevitably end today. Tell me the cultivation method of the Golden Thread's divine ability. Yi Tian commanded. There's a copy of the Golden Thread's divine ability inheritance bead in my spatial ring. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride responded. Immediately, Yi Tian had the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride take out the inheritance bead. After checking it and finding no restrictions, Yi Tian learned from the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride that he had also obtained a piece of Tiangong God Stone from the temple. As for the Hell Refining God Stone and Desolate Primordial Gold Stone, he didn't have them. The only Hell Refining God Stone and Desolate Primordial Gold Stone had been used up. No good, I can't delay any longer. Yi Tian immediately killed the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, taking the piece of Tiangong God Stone. As for the other items, he didn't take them to avoid the risk of the Golden Armor race sensing any treasures, which would be problematic. After all, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, aside from the inheritance bead and the Tiangong God Stone, didn't possess anything of value that Yi Tian cared for. After killing the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, Yi Tian kept teleporting, and then disguised himself as an ordinary king-level golden armor being, pretending to practice his swordsmanship in a forest. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. Chapter 371. A Map, the World of Gold Laws. The gods of the Golden Armor clan arrived at the forest where Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had met his demise. Upon seeing the corpse of the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, a terrifying murderous intent erupted from the god-level warriors one after another. Boom! The fluctuations of divine ability swept across, instantly turning the forest into ashes. Human Heavenly Pride, I want you dead! Roared Golden Desolation God, seething with rage. The Iron Battle Heavenly Pride was the hope of their clan. Having been captured in this strange spatial dimension for countless years, generation after generation of their people had worked hard. They had finally seen a glimmer of hope, only for it to be shattered. God Iron Long, you deserve to die for letting the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride leave. Golden Desolation God slammed his palm onto God Iron Long, sending him flying. Of course, Golden Desolation God did not intend to kill, he merely inflicted severe injuries on God Iron Long. Otherwise, with Golden Desolation God's strength, a single finger would have been enough to easily crush God Iron Long. I was wrong, Golden Desolation God. God Iron Long regretted deeply. If he had known, he would have risked defending the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride and stopped him at all costs. He had assumed that the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, being stronger than him and a 5-star Heavenly Pride, would be safe. Moreover, the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had various means to save his life, he should not have died so easily. But unexpectedly, the enemy was so powerful that the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride had no chance to resist. Quickly find that human Heavenly Pride. Once we find him, I want his body torn to pieces. Golden Desolation God bellowed. Yes, the other gods responded in unison. Unfortunately, they were doomed not to find Yi Tian's presence, unless they gathered all members of the Golden Armor clan and checked them one by one. Ensuring that no member of the Golden Armor clan was outside their city would be impractical, as many were undergoing trials in various places. Bringing them all back to the city would take a long time. Hence, this method was virtually impossible. Moreover, these gods did not anticipate that Yi Tian possessed a talent for disguise. They simply thought that Yi Tian was hiding well in a hard-to-find place, nothing more. Not only did the gods of the Golden Armor clan mobilize to search for Yi Tian, but they also dispatched a large number of emperors. Although this might result in significant losses among the emperors, the Golden Armor clan had completely lost its sanity. Meanwhile, Yi Tian headed towards the temple in this strange spatial dimension. As for whether he could successfully enter the temple, he could not be sure. But it was worth a try. Soon, he arrived at the temple of the Golden Armor clan's spatial dimension, which was surrounded by a city. To enter the temple, one had to get inside the city, and the city was also protected by a bloodline detection formation. Immediately, Yi Tian phased into the spatial dimension and sneaked into the city. Once in the spatial dimension, the formations could not affect Yi Tian, but as soon as he emerged from the space, he would be detected by the formations. Yi Tian had been in the spatial dimension for quite some time, so he was not worried. Moreover, this time he planned to approach the temple and then enter it in an instant, even gods would not be able to react in time. Soon, Yi Tian approached the temple. There were many guards around the temple, including emperor-level members of the Golden Armor clan. Swoosh! Yi Tian emerged from the spatial dimension. The next moment, he rushed into the temple. Despite his speed, he was still spotted by other members of the Golden Armor clan. Immediately, the incident caused a great stir and was reported to the gods. Inside the temple, after entering, Yi Tian quickly found an orb. This orb was no ordinary object. When Yi Tian approached it, a voice emerged from the orb. "Examinee, what reward do you desire? Please choose." Yi Tian responded, "I want the Hell Refining God Stone and the Desolate Primordial Gold Stone." The Hell Refining God Stone and the Desolate Primordial Gold Stone were two essential treasures for cultivating the golden silk divine ability of the gold element. Once he obtained the Hell Refining God Stone and the Desolate Primordial Gold Stone, he would have all three gold element treasures needed to cultivate the golden silk divine ability. The orb voiced again, "The examinee's request has been approved. The examinee needs to complete the two highest difficulty assessments to obtain the Hell Refining God Stone and the Desolate Primordial Gold Stone. Should any assessment fail, the reward cannot be obtained." Yi Tian was already aware of the rules stated by the orb. He had previously interrogated Iron Battle Heavenly Pride and learned about the rules of this temple from him. Under normal circumstances, a person entering the temple could only obtain one treasure or one inheritance. If one wished to obtain two treasures and two inheritances, it was possible, but they had to complete two assessments, and both assessments were extremely difficult. That is why almost no one chose two treasures, as the likelihood of failure was too high. Choosing a single treasure might still allow one to complete the assessment and obtain the reward. But Yi Tian did not want to miss this opportunity. He wanted to obtain the Hell Refining God Stone and the Desolate Primordial Gold Stone in one go. By doing so, he could then cultivate the Golden Silk Divine ability. "Confirm the assessment," Yi Tian said. The voice of the orb appeared again. "The first assessment is to perfectly replicate a map within one day." "What kind of assessment is this?" Yi Tian was puzzled and somewhat confused. Whoosh! A pulling force came, and Yi Tian was sucked into a strange space without resistance. In this unfamiliar space, Yi Tian saw a map about 3 meters long and 1 meter wide. This map was very strange, with irregular patterns on it. It didn't quite look like a painting, nor did it resemble the patterns of a formation. In short, the map was very peculiar. Normally, drawing a map should be quite simple. What kind of assessment was this? Moreover, the orb had mentioned that both assessments were of the highest difficulty. Yet, drawing a map was considered the highest level of assessment. Yi Tian didn't think too much and began to replicate the map in the void. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tian had drawn an identical map. But the assessment did not end, and he was still in this space. Clearly, he had failed. It seems it's not as simple as just replicating this map. Yi Tian pondered deeply. He then began to extend his divine consciousness into the map, trying to comprehend its profound mysteries. As soon as his divine consciousness touched the map, everything changed dramatically. Boom! In Yi Tian's eyes, the world within the map transformed into something else, as if it had become a world governed by laws. The world of gold laws. Yi Tian was astonished. This world of gold laws, although the gold laws contained within were very faint, were not something an ordinary person could mimic. Therefore, to replicate this map, one must fully comprehend these gold laws. The purpose wasn't to draw the map, the real goal was to comprehend the gold laws contained within it. If one couldn't comprehend the gold laws within the map, naturally, they wouldn't be able to replicate it, and the assessment would be failed. Top-tier comprehension talent, activate. Yi Tian's comprehension instantly increased by 20-fold. He then began to delve into the gold laws contained in the map, understanding its profound essence. Time slowly passed. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. Yi Tian's comprehension of the map deepened, and in just half a day, he had grasped 70%. Even so, Yi Tian was deeply amazed by the difficulty of this assessment. Without the assistance of the top-tier comprehension talent, he could only rely on the time talent. But if neither the top-tier comprehension talent nor the time talent were activated, Yi Tian couldn't complete the assessment on his own. No wonder such an assessment was considered the highest difficulty. 80%, 90%. After spending most of the day, Yi Tian finally fully comprehended the map. Then, Yi Tian began to replicate the map once again. While drawing, he fully integrated the gold laws into the map. When he finished drawing the map, a voice descended. Congratulations to the examinee for completing the first assessment. Now, proceed to the second assessment. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your talent is mine. Link to Patreon. Chapter 372, The Sudden Inheritance Assessment. Yi Tian was once again transported to a different space. With a thunderous rumble, a terrifying figure appeared. This figure had no aura of a living being, yet it wasn't a corpse either. It resembled a human but was more akin to a spiritual entity. This is an illusory consciousness, Yi Tian discerned. It was similar to the virtual consciousness in a virtual world, fictitious and not a real creature. However, this space was unique, which allowed for the formation of such a consciousness. If Yi Tian were to be killed by this consciousness, he would likewise perish. Defeat the opponent to pass the second barrier, a voice announced. Defeating this consciousness was Yi Tian's assessment. Should he fail, the consequences were imaginable. The first assessment posed no danger, but this second one was perilous. Yi Tian could sense that the aura of this consciousness was terrifying, comparable to the most exceptional of the heavenly prides, but its true strength could only be determined through combat. Whoosh! The consciousness moved its finger, and a golden thread swept towards him. This attack, Yi Tian was slightly startled but quickly dodged. Along its path, the space was sliced open, leaving behind a black line. At this moment, Yi Tian was puzzled. This attack resembled the Golden Thread divine ability, but wasn't that a secret technique of the Golden Armor clan? How could the consciousness in this temple possess the Golden Thread divine ability? Soon, Yi Tian gauged the true strength of this consciousness, roughly equivalent to a 6-star pinnacle among the heavenly prides. Even the Dark Slaughter heavenly pride would not be its match. Die! Yi Tian wielded his blade and unleashed a ghostly slash. With a splatter, the consciousness was slain by Yi Tian and instantly dissipated. Killing this consciousness was not difficult for Yi Tian, but he was still pondering over the Golden Thread divine ability. Could it be that the Golden Thread divine ability wasn't originally from the Golden Armor clan but was acquired by their ancestors from this temple and then shamelessly claimed as their own to be passed down? This possibility was highly likely. Firstly, the temple contained the Tiangong God Stone, Hell Refining God Stone, and Desolate Primordial Gold Stone, essential for the Golden Thread divine ability. Although the temple housed many treasures, they couldn't have been created out of thin air and must have been placed by an ancient deity long ago. Even with countless treasures from that ancient deity, it was too coincidental to have the exact 3 needed by the Golden Armor clan. It was plausible that the Golden Thread divine ability originated from the temple, which also contained the necessary golden treasures. With this realization, things made sense. Having slain the consciousness, Yi Tian naturally passed the second assessment. Whoosh! He was transported back to the main hall of the temple, where the initial orb reappeared. Suddenly, 2 treasures materialized before him, the Hell Refining God Stone and the Desolate Primordial Gold Stone. Swiftly, Yi Tian stored these treasures in his portable void to prevent any mishaps. Now, with the Golden Thread divine ability and the 3 golden treasures, coupled with his god-level golden talent, Yi Tian met the requirements for cultivating the Golden Thread divine ability. He could now begin cultivating the Golden Thread divine ability. Instead of leaving the temple, Yi Tian started to delve into the Golden Thread divine ability. The cultivation method of the Golden Thread divine ability was unique. It involved grinding the Tiangong God Stone, Hell Refining God Stone, and Desolate Primordial Gold Stone into powder, blending them in a special way, applying the mixture to the body, and then using the refining method from the Golden Thread divine ability to integrate the powder with the body, imprinting the divine ability's mark. Previously, Yi Tian hadn't thoroughly studied the Golden Thread divine ability. Now, upon closer inspection, he discovered something incredible. The refining method of the Golden Thread divine ability involved inscribing patterns on the body, essentially etching law patterns, with the 3 golden treasures powder serving as the foundation for these patterns. These law patterns resembled the diagram from the first assessment but weren't identical. The first assessment seems related to the Golden Thread divine ability, but what exactly is the connection? Yi Tian frowned, puzzled. However, having fully comprehended the diagram from the first assessment, Yi Tian found it relatively easy to grasp the law patterns of the Golden Thread divine ability, despite some differences. In just half a day, Yi Tian had fully mastered the refining and cultivation methods of the Golden Thread divine ability. According to his estimation, once he mastered these methods, he could quickly cultivate the Golden Thread divine ability, without the lengthy process required for the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand. The Tiangong God Stone, Hell Refining God Stone, and Desolate Primordial Gold Stone, despite their incredible durability, also tended to be brittle. Using his full strength along with the Divine Claw Ripping technique, a god-level claw skill, Yi Tian crushed the 3 golden treasures into powder over several hours. Finally, Yi Tian mixed the 3 types of powder with spirit water in a special ratio. This so-called spirit water was formed by the gathering of the Yuan Qi of heaven and earth, and creating it was not difficult for an emperor-level cultivator. After everything was prepared, Yi Tian applied the viscous mixture resulting from the fusion of the 3 powders onto his chest. Begin the cultivation. Seated in a lotus position, Yi Tian activated the refining method of the golden thread divine ability. Suddenly, golden law patterns appeared in the void, forming a special design that enveloped him, covering the skin on his chest. The viscous substance slowly merged with the golden law patterns, permanently imprinting onto Yi Tian's body, becoming a part of him. At the same time, the divine ability mark of the golden thread divine ability began to slowly form on Yi Tian's chest. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. On the 4th day, Yi Tian finally formed the divine ability mark and successfully cultivated the golden thread divine ability. Phew, it's a success. Yi Tian smiled. Suddenly, a terrifying suction force pulled him into a certain space within the temple. An unknown dark space. The assessor has been detected as a human who has cultivated the ordinary divine ability, the golden thread divine ability. The inheritance assessment is now initiated. The inheritance assessment begins. A new diagram appeared before Yi Tian, similar to the previous one but depicting an entirely different set of golden laws. Complete this diagram within 3 days to pass the first part of the inheritance assessment. The voice sounded again. For other heavenly prides, 3 days would undoubtedly be challenging, but not for Yi Tian. Immediately, Yi Tian activated his top-tier comprehension talent. As for his time talent, he chose not to use it, feeling confident in completing the assessment with his comprehension talent alone. Under a 20-fold increase in comprehension, Yi Tian began to understand and permeate the golden laws depicted in the diagram with his own insight. In just 1 day, Yi Tian had fully comprehended the diagram. Only with my top-tier comprehension talent could I understand this diagram in 1 day. If it were the Iron Battle Heavenly Pride, even transformed into a human, he wouldn't be able to pass the assessment, Yi Tian thought. Then, Yi Tian began to draw the diagram, easily completing the task and passing the assessment. The first part of the assessment is successful. The second part of the inheritance assessment begins. As soon as the voice faded, another diagram appeared. This new diagram was different from the previous one but clearly belonged to the same series. This time, the inheritance assessment allowed 5 days. Yi Tian, using his top-tier comprehension talent, completed it in 2 days. Then, a third diagram appeared. The time given for this third diagram was 6 days, but Yi Tian took 3 days to complete the assessment. The 4th diagram, the 5th diagram, the 6th diagram. Yi Tian wasn't sure how many there were in total, but he continued with the assessments, hoping to complete the so-called inheritance assessment as soon as possible. Finally, the 9th diagram appeared, with a time requirement of 20 days, and this time Yi Tian frowned. This diagram was more complex, containing deeper and more profound golden laws. Just relying on my top-tier comprehension talent might not be enough for 20 days. Yi Tian was genuinely impressed by the ancient deity who set up the assessment. It seemed deliberately designed to be nearly impossible to pass. Even with his top-tier comprehension talent, it was a struggle. How could others pass? I have no choice but to activate my time talent. Deciding, Yi Tian effortlessly completed the assessment after activating his time talent, successfully drawing the diagram. In total, there were 9 diagrams, plus the one drawn earlier, making 10 diagrams in total. Congratulations to the assessee for completing the inheritance assessment. Hearing this, Yi Tian laughed excitedly and also breathed a sigh of relief. He had spent a lot of time here and was genuinely worried that the assessments might never end. Yi Tian was very much looking forward to what rewards completing the inheritance assessment would bring. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links freewebnovel.com. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 373. A Peerless Heavenly Pride from the Andromeda Galaxy. Suddenly, a picture appeared in the void, not an illusory one, but a tangible scroll, placed in front of Yi Tian. Yi Tian picked up the scroll and looked at it carefully, only to discover that this picture was related to the 10 pictures of the assessment. To be precise, this picture perfectly integrated the previous 10 pictures into a method of cultivation linkage. Of course, there were some additional elements on this picture. Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. Yi Tian was astonished as he looked at the method of cultivation linkage recorded on the picture. Soon, he understood the reason behind it. The Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability and the Gold Thread Divine Ability were of the same lineage. To be exact, the Gold Thread Divine Ability was the foundational divine ability of the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. However, the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability was extremely difficult to link and required high qualifications. Therefore, the ancient god deduced the gold thread divine ability from it, but its was much weaker than that of the phantom gold thread divine ability. The phantom gold thread divine ability was one of the top divine abilities. But what shocked Yi Tian the most was that the phantom gold thread divine ability was part of a great divine ability, which contained the 5 elements, and the phantom gold thread divine ability was the gold element aspect of it. The 5 top divine abilities could be merged into one great divine ability. I happen to have the 5 elements transformation talent, which qualifies me to cultivate the 5 elements great divine ability. Yi Tian was filled with excitement. A great divine ability. That was a level above a divine ability. One divine ability was already a great help to Yi Tian, let alone cultivating a great divine ability. Wouldn't that be even more heaven-defying? I wonder if this ancient god has the complete 5 elements great divine ability. Yi Tian thought to himself. Regardless, he had now obtained the phantom gold thread divine ability, which was a significant gain. He briefly checked and found that he was not yet able to cultivate the phantom gold thread divine ability, as this divine ability required 7 rare gold elemental treasures, and he had already mastered the gold thread divine ability, theoretically needing only the other 4 treasures. However, Yi Tian currently did not possess any of the 4 materials. These 4 materials were the void tears, spirit Qilin crystal, the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast, and the essence of a 10-million-year-old Kongdong stone. From their names, one could tell how rare these 4 materials were, not easily obtainable. And now, Yi Tian could no longer obtain treasures from the temple assessment and could only hope to obtain these 4 treasures later. At this moment, Yi Tian was transported out of the temple. In fact, he had long passed the time to leave the temple, even to leave the alternate space, but he had unexpectedly met the requirements for the divine ability inheritance assessment, which is why he was forcibly arranged to undergo the assessment. Now that the assessment was over, Yi Tian naturally could not stay inside the temple any longer. Outside the temple, the Golden Armor clan did not station many powerful beings at the temple entrance, not even god-level powerhouses. Initially, there might have been god-level powerhouses who doubted the identity of the person who entered the temple, but now, after 2 or 3 months, they almost all believed that he had perished inside the temple. After all, no one could stay in the temple for a long time, and external heavenly prides could not stay in the alternate space for a long time either, so they all believed that the human heavenly pride who had killed the Iron Battle heavenly pride had long gone. Therefore, no one paid attention to the situation of the temple. Suddenly, Yi Tian appeared at the entrance of the temple, which attracted the attention of many of the Golden Armor clan. But before they could react, he disappeared, leaving the alternate space. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. A god-level powerhouse landed in front of the temple from various directions. Lord Golden Desolation God, a human just came out of the temple, said one of the Imperial-level members of the Golden Armor clan. Because Yi Tian had not used his disguise talent just then and appeared as a human, so these members of the Golden Armor clan recognized him. A human came out of the temple. Golden Desolation God was initially puzzled, but then he remembered the mysterious clan member who had entered the temple a few months ago, and he immediately connected the dots. It was clear that the clansman was the human heavenly pride in disguise. No wonder we've been unable to find the human heavenly pride for so long. It turns out that this human possesses the talent for disguise. Golden Desolation God was furious. However, he was also very puzzled as to how Yi Tian could stay in the temple for 2 to 3 months, which was a violation of the rules. The other gods were also very puzzled and couldn't understand it. This incident became an unsolved case for the Golden Armor clan. On a stone step of the ancient god ruins, Yi Tian's figure appeared here. I am out, Yi Tian murmured. In the Golden Armor clan's alternate space, he had gained a lot, but he had also stayed for a long time. However, he had received the inheritance of the Phantom Gold Thread divine ability, which was incredibly valuable. Immediately after, Yi Tian continued forward. Before long, he encountered many killing formations, illusionary formations, and trapping formations, but with Yi Tian's 8-star Peerless Heavenly Pride combat power, he easily passed through them. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. During this half year, Yi Tian had entered many alternate spaces. Some of these alternate spaces were indeed very dangerous, and each one indeed had a temple, but not all temples allowed one to freely choose rewards. Yi Tian only encountered one such temple afterwards. He sneaked into that temple and chose the Void Tears as his reward, because that temple did not have the other 3 treasures, only the Void Tears. Fortunately, he passed the assessment and obtained the Void Tears. Apart from the Void Tears, Yi Tian also gained many treasures, such as 3 techniques for physical body cultivation. Though they were not very advanced and could at most enhance the cultivation speed by 14 times, they were still invaluable. One was suitable for warriors with ice-based talents to cultivate. One was suitable for warriors with light-based talents to cultivate. And one was suitable for warriors with fire-based talents to cultivate. If he included the unnamed physical body cultivation technique, Yi Tian now had 4 physical body cultivation techniques. Even the top forces in the Milky Way might not have as many physical body cultivation techniques as him. Additionally, Yi Tian obtained many cultivation resources, but the gains decreased as he progressed. Because the deeper he went into the alternate spaces, the more terrifying the strength of the alien races inside. Some alternate spaces had very few living beings, just a few dozen aliens, but each one was extremely formidable, forcing Yi Tian to disguise himself as an ordinary fierce beast and hide for 10 days before leaving the alternate space. Therefore, Yi Tian hardly gained anything in the later alternate spaces. One day, Yi Tian finally reached the end of the stone steps and came to the front of the ancient god ruins. The doors of the ancient god ruins were open, and Yi Tian stepped into the ancient god ruins. Upon entering the ancient god ruins, he came to an immensely vast hall. Around the hall were numerous statues and stone paintings, each statue exuding a sense of vicissitude, and the stone paintings recorded many deeds. But what caught Yi Tian's attention upon entering the ancient god ruins were not these statues and stone paintings, but the few people standing in the hall. 3 heavenly prides. Yi Tian frowned. Logically, with so many alternate spaces, even a 6-star peerless heavenly pride wouldn't be able to pass through them all. He was an 8-star heavenly pride and, with many life-saving methods, had barely managed to reach the ancient god ruins. How did these 3 heavenly prides get here through their strength? He did not believe that these 3 heavenly prides possessed the combat power of 8 or 9-star peerless heavenly prides. Who are you to have also arrived here? One of the heavenly prides asked curiously. Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, and you? Yi Tian asked. Your heavenly pride of 10,000 laws. Another heavenly pride exclaimed in surprise, I am Scorpio heavenly pride. Immediately, Scorpio heavenly pride respectfully introduced the other 2 heavenly prides. These 2 are Hongyang heavenly pride and Lai Jun heavenly pride from the Andromeda galaxy. They are among the top of the 6-star peerless heavenly prides. Scorpio heavenly pride, it's him. Yi Tian recognized him immediately. Scorpio heavenly pride was the one who had obtained the physical body cultivation technique before but was chased by the 3 peerless heavenly prides of the Milky Way, even chased to other galaxies, and had only recently returned to the Milky Way. Previously, he didn't know why those 3 heavenly prides had given up the chase, but now he understood. So, he made acquaintances with 2 peerless heavenly prides from the Andromeda galaxy. Yi Tian realized. The Andromeda galaxy, like the Milky Way, was a galaxy. Rumor had it that the Andromeda galaxy was even larger and more prosperous than the Milky Way, with more powerful beings. With 2 6-star peerless heavenly prides protecting Scorpio heavenly pride, the other 3 peerless heavenly prides of the Milky Way wouldn't dare to make a move and had to give up the chase. But as for how Scorpio heavenly pride and the other 2 got to the ancient god ruins, he didn't know, but they definitely didn't come here step by step like he did. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 374, Instantly Defeating the Strange Bird Statue with a Single Slash. I never expected that someone from your Milky Way would actually have obtained the token of the Dark Star Demon God. Lai Jun heavenly pride stared at Yi Tian, expressing his surprise. Token? What token? Yi Tian frowned and asked curiously. Don't play dumb. Without the token, could you have directly passed through so many traps to arrive at the ancient god ruins? Lai Jun heavenly pride said. Hearing this, Yi Tian immediately understood. Lai Jun heavenly pride and the others possessed a token, which prevented them from being sucked into formations in different spaces, allowing them to easily reach the ancient god ruins. They assumed Yi Tian didn't have the strength to make it through on his own, hence they thought he had come with a token. Unfortunately, they were mistaken. Of course, Yi Tian didn't explain. Why are you still lingering in the main hall? Isn't there a passage over there? Why not go in? Yi Tian asked. Looking puzzled at Yi Tian, Lai Jun heavenly pride said, could it be that you were lucky enough to obtain the token and know nothing about the Dark Star Demon God's temple? Not a clue, Yi Tian responded truthfully. Well, since we can't enter now, I might as well tell you. The Dark Star Demon God was quite a powerful deity among the galaxy gods in the ancient era. However, he was not a benevolent one. He liked to conduct research and even captured the heavenly prides of various races, offending many forces. He often conducted research, hence he built temples in many galaxies. This relic in the Milky Way is just one of his ancient temple ruins, but it also contains many good items. After all, anything a galaxy-level powerhouse discards as trash is a treasured artifact we greatly desire. But the Dark Star Demon God had a peculiar temperament. While his ruins do contain many treasures, they are extremely dangerous. Only the most powerful heavenly prides could survive, let alone gain something. And to obtain what he left behind, one must meet certain conditions. For example, to enter that passage in the Dark Star Demon God's temple, you must face that strange bird. Lai Jun Heavenly Pride pointed at the strange bird statue at the entrance of the passage. To enter the passage, one must bypass the strange bird statue. A statue of a bird is stopping you. Yi Tian was puzzled. Unable to hold back, Hong Yang Heavenly Pride said, "You lack experience and can't recognize the origin of this statue. Let me explain to avoid any rash actions that could cost you your life. This strange bird statue may seem like a mere statue, but it's not. It's a stone puppet, crafted by merging a living soul with the statue using special methods. This stone puppet is very powerful. I tested it once and was severely injured by just one move. Its strength is probably comparable to that of a 7-star Heavenly Pride. It took me a long time to recover from the injury, and I still haven't figured out how to get past it." A strange bird statue with the power of a 7-star peerless Heavenly Pride. Yi Tian was truly astonished. The methods of the so-called Dark Star Demon God were indeed eerie, to be able to create such a strange bird statue. Through the conversation with these two heavenly prides from the Andromeda Galaxy, Yi Tian learned many secrets. For instance, the realm above the great god level was the planetary level, and above that is the galaxy level. The Dark Star Demon God was a galaxy god who traversed countless galaxies, making him a renowned deity among humanity. Unfortunately, something happened in the past, and the Dark Star Demon God fell, leaving behind many relics. A relic of a galaxy-level powerhouse, even if it's just a minor one among many, is a rare opportunity. If one could obtain the inheritance of a galaxy-level powerhouse, it would be a complete rise to power. However, given the Dark Star Demon God's nature, although he left behind many benefits, it's unlikely he left his entire life's inheritance. So, one should expect to obtain the Dark Star Demon God's complete inheritance. Lai Jun Heavenly Pride and Hong Yang Heavenly Pride obtained the Dark Star Demon God's token and heard about a relic of his in the Milky Way. They came here hoping to gain some benefits to advance to the 7-star Heavenly Pride level. Unexpectedly, they were stopped by just a strange bird statue. Heavenly Pride of 10,000 Laws, do you have any way to bypass this strange bird statue? Lai Jun Heavenly Pride asked. After hearing so much from them, Yi Tian decided to let them follow him in. So, he said, "Of course, there's a way. You three, follow me." With that, Yi Tian walked towards the entrance of the passage. Heavenly Pride of 10,000 Laws, are you just going to walk over like that? Scorpio Heavenly Pride's pupils constricted. In his view, the Heavenly Pride of 10,000 Laws was merely a newcomer to the 6-star peerless Heavenly Pride level. If he were to just walk over like that, he might be instantly killed by the strange bird statue puppet in one move. But the three of them still followed, keeping their distance from the strange bird statue, but ready to rush through if Yi Tian truly had a way. Without a word, Yi Tian walked straight up to the strange bird statue. At that moment, the strange bird statue moved, slashing with a wing at an incredibly fast speed. The wing of the strange bird statue was fast, but Yi Tian's blade was faster. Phantom God Blade Technique. An extremely fast slash struck the wing of the strange bird statue first. With a thunderous crash, the entire strange bird statue collapsed, and Yi Tian seized the opportunity to fly into the passage. The three heavenly prides behind him were stunned. Yi Tian had killed the strange bird statue with a single slash. What kind of power was that? But they quickly snapped out of it, realizing now was not the time to be dumbfounded, and swiftly flew into the passage as well. At this time, the fragments of the strange bird statue disappeared, and a statue appeared instantly at the entrance of the passage, replacing the previous strange bird statue. Everything returned to calm. Thank you, Heavenly Pride of 10,000 Laws. Lai Jun Heavenly Pride, Hong Yang Heavenly Pride, and Scorpio Heavenly Pride expressed their gratitude with clasped fists. At this moment, they held profound respect for Yi Tian. From that one slash earlier, it was clear that Yi Tian's strength was definitely that of a 7-star peerless Heavenly Pride. Even among the 7-star peerless Heavenly Prides, he probably belonged to the top tier, or he wouldn't have been able to kill the strange bird statue puppet with a single slash. If previously Lai Jun Heavenly Pride and Hong Yang Heavenly Pride looked down on Yi Tian from the Milky Way, now they dared not harbor such thoughts. Respect was all they had. After all, that was a 7-star peerless Heavenly Pride, and even in the Andromeda Galaxy, there weren't many 7-star Heavenly Prides. Their ultimate goal was also just to become 7-star peerless Heavenly Prides, and once they reached that level, they would probably aim to challenge the God level. No need to be polite, let's move forward, Yi Tian said. The group continued along the passage and soon arrived at another hall. Here, an artifact spirit appeared before the 4 of them. Examiners, congratulations on reaching the Dark Star Demon God's Temple. I am the artifact spirit of the Dark Star Demon God's Temple. According to the rules left by the Master, human heavenly prides who enter the Dark Star Demon God's Temple only need to challenge the Dark Star Demon God Tower to have a chance to gain certain fortunes. Each person has only one chance, and once they fail, they must leave the Dark Star Demon God's Temple. The artifact spirit said. As expected, it's about challenging the Dark Star Demon God Tower. I hope I can make it through the 2nd level, Lai Jun Heavenly Pride whispered. One by one, Lai Jun Heavenly Pride and the others chose to challenge the Dark Star Demon God Tower and disappeared. Challenge, Yi Tian muttered to himself and also arrived at the 1st level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower. At this time, Yi Tian heard a reminder from the artifact spirit, the opponent you are about to face comes from a past 6-star peerless Heavenly Pride. The Master once fought with this Heavenly Pride and later perfectly created him in a virtual state. An ancient era's Heavenly Pride, huh? Yi Tian murmured, his heart, however, not stirring much. Just a mere 6-star Heavenly Pride, he didn't take it seriously at all. Whoosh! A young man dressed in a black robe wielding a spear appeared out of nothingness, staring directly at Yi Tian. The battle began. Boom! The young man unleashed a super god-level spear technique, piercing with a thrust. Spatial imprisonment, Ghost Blade. With a swish, Yi Tian effortlessly decapitated his opponent, passing the 1st challenge. At this time, the artifact spirit appeared and said, Examinee, you have passed the 1st challenge of the Dark Star Demon God Tower. Please choose your reward method, treasures or cultivation secret techniques. Artifact Spirit, I want to know if the Dark Star Demon God Tower possesses the great divine abilities of the 5 elements, Yi Tian asked. He knew from before that artifact spirits were sentient and had certain emotions, but he wasn't sure if this artifact spirit would answer him. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your talent is mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 375, Gathering the Materials. Examinee, you have obtained the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability, so I'll make an exception and tell you. The 5 Elements Divine Ability is extremely rare, even the Master did not obtain the complete 5 Elements Divine Ability. Besides the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability, the other 4 abilities are missing. There are only some rumors, but so many years have passed, those rumors have become useless. You should not hold out hope, the artifact spirit said. Yi Tian showed a look of disappointment. He had thought that he could obtain the 5 Elements Divine Ability in the Dark Star Demon God Temple. It seems that even for galaxy-level powerhouses, great divine abilities were very rare and hard to come by. Spirit Qilin Crystal, the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast, and the essence of a 10-million-year-old Kongdong stone, can I obtain them as rewards in the 1st layer? Yi Tian asked. No, the artifact spirit said, the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast can be obtained as a reward in the 2nd level. The Spirit Qilin Crystal requires the 3rd level's reward, and as for the 10-million-year-old Kongdong Stone Essence, it requires the 4th level's reward. The Spirit Qilin Crystal and the 10-million-year-old Kongdong Stone Essence are so precious. Yi Tian was quite surprised. He had thought that these items would be of similar value. Since he couldn't obtain those items as rewards in the 1st layer, and probably couldn't obtain any good inheritances either, it might be better to choose items as rewards. I choose the item rewards, Yi Tian said. Whoosh! A large number of item illusions appeared in Yi Tian's sight. The artifact spirit pointed at these items and said, choose any one of the rewards. After looking for a while, Yi Tian did not find any particularly good items. Almost none of them were of much use to him, as he was now an 8-star peerless Heavenly Pride, and items useful to him were extremely rare. In the end, he chose an item Moon God Heart. The Moon God Heart was an item that could assist in cultivation, containing extremely terrifying moon power. For someone like the Empress Yu who possessed moon power, this Moon God Heart could be of great help. Although the Empress Yu had already broken through her 16th bodily limit, with this Moon God Heart, there was a chance she could break through the 17th limit in the future. Therefore, Yi Tian chose this moon god heart, planning to give it to his wife, the Empress Yu, once he returned to the Silver Universe Star. After choosing the reward, whoosh, the moon god heart appeared in front of Yi Tian. He placed it in a jade box and stored it in his personal Zumi realm. Having passed the first level, Yi Tian applied to challenge the second level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower. In the second level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower, Yi Tian encountered another heavenly pride. This heavenly pride was a female, but her strength was comparable to the very top 6-star peerless heavenly prides. Similarly, Yi Tian easily defeated her, passing the second level. The artifact spirit appeared again, offering Yi Tian a choice of rewards. I choose the item rewards. Soon, a myriad of item illusions appeared, and Yi Tian quickly found the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast. Divine beasts refer to fierce beasts with strength above the god level. Low-grade divine beasts have god-level strength, mid-grade divine beasts have true god-level strength, and high-grade divine beasts have great god-level strength. In other words, the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast was from a great god-level golden divine beast. To take the heart's blood of a great god-level divine beast meant defeating it. Therefore, the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast was also a very rare and precious item. Yi Tian chose the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast and successfully obtained this item. Next, Yi Tian went to challenge the third level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower. The heavenly pride of the third level was a 7-star peerless heavenly pride, and even among the 7-star peerless heavenly prides, she was not weak. However, she stood no chance against Yi Tian, an 8-star peerless heavenly pride, and was easily slain by Yi Tian. In the third level's rewards, Yi Tian also chose an item and obtained the Spirit Qilin Crystal. At this point, Yi Tian was only missing one item: 10-million-year-old Kongdong Stone Essence. As long as he passed the fourth level, he could obtain the 10-million-year-old Kongdong Stone Essence. By then, all the materials would be gathered, and his strength could be significantly enhanced. Challenge the fourth level. Yi Tian arrived at the fourth level, where a gigantic heavenly pride appeared, at least 20 meters tall. This opponent was not of the human race, as humans were not generally that tall. At this moment, the heavenly pride held a giant hammer, with a terrifying aura spreading all around. Soon, Yi Tian engaged in battle with his opponent and quickly assessed his strength. A top-tier 7-star heavenly pride. Yi Tian, now an 8-star heavenly pride, swiftly defeated this heavenly pride, successfully passing the fourth level. Victory achieved. At this moment, the artifact spirit appeared, congratulating Yi Tian. Then, Yi Tian obtained the 10-million-year-old Kongdong Stone Essence as a reward for the fourth level. It could be said that Yi Tian had now gathered all the materials needed to cultivate the Phantom Gold Thread divine ability and could attempt to cultivate it. But he wanted to challenge the fifth level. Artifact Spirit, I want to challenge the fifth level. Yi Tian declared. Whoosh! Yi Tian arrived at the fifth level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower. At that moment, a terrifying figure shrouded in darkness appeared, with 2 horns on its head and fangs, its face resembling that of a demon. This was an 8-star peerless heavenly pride. An 8-star peerless heavenly pride, I must give it my all. Yi Tian stated solemnly. He too was an 8-star peerless heavenly pride. He was not considered strong among his peers, so it was uncertain if he could defeat this 8-star peerless heavenly pride. However, being less powerful didn't mean certain defeat. He had many life-saving techniques, enough to wear down the enemy. Boom! The opponent made a move, launching a punch. This was a terrifyingly powerful super god-level punch, imbued with extreme force. Time talent. Time freeze. Yi Tian activated his long-unused time talent, instantly freezing time. However, due to the opponent's strength, the freeze was brief, but it allowed Yi Tian to successfully dodge the attack and deliver a strike with the Phantom God Sword technique. Boom! The Phantom God Sword technique struck the opponent, but as the time freeze ended, the opponent's physique endured Yi Tian's attack. Clearly, the opponent's defense was formidable. In the ensuing battle, Yi Tian used his time talent, spatial talent, super god level sword techniques, super god level palm techniques, and almost all his methods, but only just managed to match this 8-star peerless heavenly pride. The opponent had almost no weaknesses, with terrifying punching techniques, defense, speed, and even soul defense methods. Yi Tian's attacks hardly inflicted significant damage, while the opponent easily injured Yi Tian. It had to be admitted, though Yi Tian had reached the 8-star level, his strength was accumulated through various talents, and his pure attack power wasn't that strong. However, Yi Tian's immortality talent, life talent, and healing talent allowed his recovery speed to reach a terrifying level, almost making him indestructible. 10 minutes passed, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Although Yi Tian was injured many times, he remained largely unharmed, quickly recovering, but the 8-star heavenly pride struggled, with each injury accumulating over time, significantly weakening him. This was the 5th level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower, and this heavenly pride was a simulation, not a real one, so it couldn't escape. In the outside world, the opponent would have left long ago if unable to kill Yi Tian, instead of fighting him for so long and allowing Yi Tian to inflict such damage. Overall, Yi Tian had the upper hand in the Dark Star Demon God Tower. After another 2 hours, Yi Tian fully seized the advantage, launching a relentless attack on the 8-star heavenly pride, eventually exhausting him to death and successfully passing the 5th level. But at this point, Yi Tian was nearly exhausted, and had the opponent persisted for another hour, perhaps Yi Tian would have been the one to lose. The artifact spirit appeared, congratulating him. Examinee, congratulations on passing the 5th level of the Dark Star Demon God Tower. Please choose your reward method. I choose the cultivation technique reward. Yi Tian spoke. After all, he no longer needed items, having gathered all the materials for the Phantom Gold Thread Divine ability. It would be better to choose a cultivation technique reward, possibly encountering a very good one, which would be a real gain. Whoosh! A collection of cultivation technique rewards appeared before Yi Tian. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, linked to Patreon. Chapter 376, 10-Star Defense Secret Technique, Leaving the Ancient God Ruins. Among the many types of secret cultivation techniques, there were several that were exceedingly malevolent, which Yi Tian had no interest in whatsoever. After a long search, Yi Tian finally found a Yuan Force Defense secret technique that he was thoroughly satisfied with. Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique. This Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique was a dark attribute Yuan Force Defense secret technique, which only martial warriors with dark talents could cultivate. Once mastered, it allowed the practitioner to condense Dark Qilin scales on their body surface, significantly enhancing their defense. Moreover, this Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique was of a very high tier, surpassing all other Yuan Force Defense secret techniques Yi Tian had acquired before. It was a 10-star Yuan Force Defense secret technique. To put things into perspective, the best Yuan Force Defense secret technique that Yi Tian could purchase at the Heavenly Pride Pavilion on Silver Universe Star was only 9-star level. One could imagine how valuable the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique was. If the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique were to be made public, it would surely incite conflict among many major powers. freewebnovel.com. In fact, there were even more valuable secret techniques among the possible rewards, but Yi Tian did not choose those because they were of little use to him. The most useful and acceptable secret technique for him was the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique. After selecting the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique, a secret manual appeared before Yi Tian. Yi Tian grabbed the manual and stored it away. At this moment, the spirit spoke again. Examiner, every heavenly pride who manages to come here is entitled to a token. With that, the spirit produced a jade pendant and handed it to Yi Tian. This is the token. In the future, if you encounter relics of the Master, this token can grant you direct access into the relics. However, I do not recommend doing so, as the real benefits within some relics lie elsewhere, not within the temple ruins, the spirit explained. Yi Tian nodded in agreement with the spirit's words. For instance, in this relic, although the rewards within the Dark Star Demon Temple were considerable, the opportunities in those dimensional spaces were not much lesser. If he had directly forsaken the gains from those distinct spaces and come straight to this Dark Star Demon Temple, he would not have been able to obtain those rewards. Thus, danger and opportunity coexist, and it depends on one's pursuit. Nonetheless, this token is also quite remarkable. Should he truly encounter an extremely dangerous relic, where entry almost guarantees death, using the token to directly enter could be a viable option. After Yi Tian took the token and stored it away, the spirit teleported him out. In the next moment, Yi Tian found himself outside the ancient god ruins, standing before the relic's light barrier. He tried to re-enter the relic but found that he was no longer able to do so. My gains are already plentiful, it's time to leave. Yi Tian flew out of the relic and arrived in the starry sky of the Tunjiang planetary system. At that moment, several heavenly prides intercepted Yi Tian. Yi Tian looked over and recognized one of the heavenly prides, Qingzhan Heavenly Pride. Qingzhan Heavenly Pride was one of the 6-star peerless heavenly prides. Besides him, there were 3 other heavenly prides. These three heavenly prides, standing alongside Qingzan heavenly pride, seemed to hold similar statuses and were likely also peerless heavenly prides. Could they be the three heavenly prides who were previously chasing after the Scorpio heavenly pride? Yi Tian speculated. Qingzan heavenly pride's gaze was firmly fixed on Yi Tian as he threatened, "Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, you've been inside the ancient god ruins for several months. Being able to stay for so long, you must have obtained quite a bit." According to reports, some heavenly prides have obtained secret techniques of physical body cultivation within the ancient god ruins, and not just one but several. You must have obtained some secret techniques of physical body cultivation too, right? As long as you share those secret techniques of physical body cultivation with us, we won't make things difficult for you. Otherwise, imagine the scene of being besieged by four peerless heavenly prides at the same time. Are you threatening me? Yi Tian responded coldly. You can think of it that way. Qingzan heavenly pride nodded. Just then, boom, boom, boom. Three presences appeared, unmistakably Scorpio, Hongyang, and Lai Jun heavenly prides. Upon seeing these three, Qingzan heavenly pride and his companions changed their expressions. They warily watched Hongyang heavenly pride and Lai Jun heavenly pride. These two were among the top tier of the 6-star peerless heavenly prides, and the four of them combined were probably no match for the two. Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, how about we three take action and teach them a lesson? Lai Jun heavenly pride inquired, bowing. This scene shocked Qingzan heavenly pride and his companions immensely. What stature did Lai Jun heavenly pride hold? As one of the top existences among the 6-star peerless heavenly prides and a disciple from a vast power within the Andromeda galaxy, his strength and status far exceeded theirs. Yet, such a peerless heavenly pride was showing such respect to Yi Tian, almost like a subordinate. This had to be a joke. No need, they're just a bunch of nobodies. Yi Tian waved his hand, seemingly not taking Qingzan heavenly pride seriously at all. You're calling us nobodies? Qingzan heavenly pride and the others were enraged. As peerless heavenly prides, they were extremely proud. Typically, other heavenly prides would approach them with utmost respect. From their birth until now, anyone who disrespected them had died. And Yi Tian, even as a peerless heavenly pride, was no different in their eyes without a powerful background. Seeking death, Qingzan heavenly pride was the first to launch an attack on Yi Tian. At that moment, with a light flick of his finger, Yi Tian sent out a golden thread. With a swish, the golden thread sliced through Qingzan heavenly pride's body, cutting him in half instantly. Master, save me, Qingzan heavenly pride cried out in horror. His body being cut in half was a minor issue, but the power of the golden divine ability was infiltrating his entire body, rapidly draining his life force. If this continued even for a moment longer, he would undoubtedly die. Boom! A terrifying presence appeared, and a fearsome figure emerged from the void with a wave of his hand. The nearly dead Qingzan heavenly pride was quickly restored to life, narrowly escaping death. However, Qingzan heavenly pride's injuries were not so easily healed and would likely take a considerable amount of time to recover. A great god-level powerhouse. Yi Tian frowned slightly, looking at an elder in the distance. With a sweep of his copying talent, he quickly assessed the elder's talents. Human, Chong Dongshan, cultivation talent, desolate level. Strength talent, mystic, speed talent, mystic, defense talent, mystic. Wood god talent, god level. Swordsmanship talent, moonlight. Chong Dongshan, it's that great god Dongshan. Yi Tian recalled the background of this great god in his mind. Great god Dongshan was a great god from one of the 9 major planets, the Silver Emperor star. Yi Tian had crammed a lot of knowledge, learning about many true gods and above powerhouses, which is why he could recognize great god Dongshan immediately. Golden divine ability, quite impressive. It seems you obtained this divine ability in the ancient god ruins, along with the materials required for the golden divine ability. Otherwise, with your background, it would be difficult to gather the materials needed for a divine ability. Your strength has stepped into the 7-star Emperor tier. In the current younger generation of the Milky Way, you should be considered the 3rd 7-star heavenly pride. Great god Dongshan looked at Yi Tian and spoke. The 3rd 7-star heavenly pride. Yi Tian thought to himself, indicating there were 2 other 7-star heavenly prides in the Milky Way. However, those 2 7-star peerless heavenly prides must have left the Milky Way for other galaxies. Master, I've disgraced you. Qingzan heavenly pride's face fell, and he bowed his head. Qingzan, he's a 7-star heavenly pride, and it's normal for you not to be his match. Go back, great god Dongshan said. Yes, Qingzan heavenly pride responded. Yi Tian did not pursue Qingzhan heavenly pride any further. With a great god present, it was impossible to kill a heavenly pride. While powerhouses above the god level are not allowed to attack heavenly prides directly, it doesn't mean they can't protect other heavenly prides. Great god Dongshan could easily block Yi Tian's attack and then take Qingzhan heavenly pride away. After Qingzhan heavenly pride left, the other 3 peerless heavenly prides also hurriedly fled, not daring to block the path of a 7-star peerless heavenly pride. Lai Jun heavenly pride came over, laughing and congratulating. Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, that golden divine ability you used just now was incredible. If it weren't for that great god-level powerhouse appearing, you would have killed Qingzhan heavenly pride in one move. It was just that Qingzhan heavenly pride was too weak. Yi Tian modestly said. In reality, he had held back, only unleashing the strength of a 7-star heavenly pride. If he had gone all out, even great god Dongshan wouldn't have been able to intervene in time. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 377, another page of the Mira Sutra. Yi Tian and the heavenly prides like Lai Jun only chatted for a while before parting ways. Lai Jun and Hong Yang heavenly prides were not from the Milky Way but from the Andromeda Galaxy, so naturally, they would not stay in the Milky Way for long. However, before departing, Lai Jun said, Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, as a 7-star heavenly pride, the Milky Way is far too small for you. There's no need to stay here for long. Once you step out of the Milky Way, you'll discover a vast and boundless world. Thank you for the advice. I will leave the Milky Way in the future to explore other places. Yi Tian responded. After Lai Jun and Hong Yang left, Yi Tian returned to Silver Universe Star. Not long after his return, he handed the heart of the moon goddess to his wife, Empress Yu, and then began his seclusion. This time, he was preparing to cultivate the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. Compared to the Golden Thread Divine Ability, the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability was much more powerful, so he wanted to master it as soon as possible to significantly enhance his strength. Yi Tian had already mastered the Golden Thread Divine Ability, but to further cultivate the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability on its basis was not an easy task and would require some time. It took Yi Tian a month to fully comprehend the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability before he began the cultivation process. Void Tears, the heart blood of a high-level gold elemental divine beast, Spirit Qilin Crystal, and the essence of a million-year-old Kongdong Stone. These 4 treasures needed to be fused together and then applied to Yi Tian's body, forming runes all over to create a complete diagram of the divine ability. Only then could the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability's mark be condensed, fully mastering this divine ability. Yi Tian spent several days grinding the Spirit Qilin Crystal and the essence of the million-year-old Kongdong Stone into powder, mixing it with the Void Tears and the heartblood of the high-level Golden Beast, and then applying it to his body. Afterward, Yi Tian began to condense the mark of the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability according to the cultivation method. Time passed day by day. Yi Tian did not use his time talent, so it took him 2 full months to successfully condense the mark of the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. With this, he had entered the threshold of the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. After mastering it, Yi Tian decided to test the power of this divine ability in reality. He flew out of Silver Universe City and began searching for traces of ferocious beasts. After about 15 minutes, he found a saint-level ferocious beast. This saint-level beast was a violent bear with a height of several hundred meters. Yi Tian appeared in front of it and unleashed the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. In an instant, the violent bear was covered in golden threads, which seemed to form a prison around it, trapping it completely. With a thought from Yi Tian, the golden threads instantly sliced the violent bear into countless pieces. How powerful! The Golden Thread Divine Ability can only control a single golden thread, but the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability can control multiple threads, with faster speed and more concealment. In terms of power, the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability is 10 times more terrifying than the Golden Thread Divine Ability. Yi Tian thought to himself. He was very satisfied with the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability. And this was just a top-tier divine ability. He couldn't help but wonder how terrifying the greater divine abilities above it would be. With the Phantom Gold Thread Divine Ability mastered, Yi Tian then took out the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique, a Yuan Force defensive secret technique. He opened the content of the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique and started to read through it, his first time going through this secret technique. After reading it, Yi Tian realized he had underestimated the value of this secret technique. It can continue to be cultivated even above the god level. Yi Tian was quite surprised. Typically, Yuan Force defensive secret techniques become useless once one reached the God level, simply because they only affected Yuan Force. After reaching the God level, Yuan Force transformed into Divine Force. Divine Force was different from Yuan Force, hence Yuan Force defensive secret techniques could not affect Divine Force. But there were corresponding Divine Force defensive secret techniques, but they were even rarer than Yuan Force defensive techniques. The Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique, however, was a defensive secret technique that encompassed both Yuan and Divine Force defenses. At the Emperor level, it was merely a Yuan Force defensive secret technique, but at the God level, it became a God-level Divine Force defensive secret technique. However, at the God level, it was not a 10-star Divine Force defensive secret technique but a 7-star one. Even so, its value was extremely high, far exceeding Yi Tian's initial estimation. In summary, the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique was incredibly precious, and even a great god would be tempted by it. The Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique was extremely abstruse and difficult to comprehend, making it impossible for ordinary people to master. However, Yi Tian, with his top-tier comprehension talent, would be able to cultivate it. As time went by, several months passed in the blink of an eye. One day, Yi Tian finally cultivated the Dark Qilin Demon Body Technique to the minor achievement stage. Even just at this stage, its defensive capabilities far surpassed those of a perfected 8-star Yuan Force defensive secret technique. In the following days, Yi Tian devoted his efforts to understanding the Tao of the palm, claw, and sword. Due to the lack of significant opportunities, Yi Tian's progress was slow, but he was still making progress. In the blink of an eye, another half-year passed. Compared to 6 months ago, Yi Tian's strength had slightly improved. He was probably at the lower end of the 8-star Peerless Heavenly Prides, still a bit away from the middle level. On this day, Yi Tian was chatting with his wife. An Emperor-level individual came to Yi Tian's residence. "I am Zhang Wei from the Milky Way Commerce Association, here to seek an audience with the Heavenly Pride of 10,000 Laws," Zhang Wei said, bowing outside Yi Tian's villa. "What is it?" Yi Tian's voice emanated from inside the villa, inquiring. If an Emperor-level individual did not have significant matters to discuss, Yi Tian naturally wouldn't allow them inside, otherwise, he would be overwhelmed by visitors every day. "The Milky Way Commerce Association has an invitation letter, hoping that the Heavenly Pride of 10,000 Laws would grace our treasure auction with your presence," Zhang Wei stated. "Leave the invitation and go," Yi Tian instructed. "Yes." Zhang Wei placed the invitation on the villa's door and then turned to leave. Swiftly, a hand reached out from the void and took the invitation. Inside the villa, Yi Tian examined the invitation. He was aware of the Milky Way Commerce Association, reputed to be a vast commerce association with strength even surpassing the major forces of Silver Universe Star. Moreover, the business of the Milky Way Commerce Association was not limited to the Milky Way but also extended to other galaxies. In short, the Milky Way Commerce Association was undoubtedly one of the top untouchable powers in the Milky Way. The auction was one of the business ventures of the Milky Way Commerce Association, and it was no surprise to Yi Tian that they sent him an invitation. Although his 8-star Peerless Heavenly Pride strength was not revealed, his 7-star level was well known. As the third 7-star Heavenly Pride in the Milky Way, his reputation far exceeded that of Netherkill, Qingzhan, Thunderling, and others. Essentially, most of the somewhat powerful warriors in the Milky Way had heard of him in one way or another, so it was normal for the Milky Way Commerce Association to send him an invitation. Initially, Yi Tian was not keen on attending such auctions, but after reading the invitation, his interest was piqued. The invitation was not just a mere request but also listed some of the treasures to be auctioned, one of which caught his attention. A page from the Mira Sutra. This was one of the auction items. Although it didn't specify which page, the Mira Sutra was a 9-star wondrous object, making even a single page extremely precious. Moreover, the Mira Sutra contained numerous secret techniques and might hold great secrets. Having already obtained 2 pages of the Mira Sutra, Yi Tian was naturally interested in the rest. "Since it's hard to improve my strength lately, why not take a look?" Yi Tian originally planned to take Empress Yu with him, but she insisted on continuing her cultivation and did not want to waste time. Thus, Yi Tian decided to go alone. The auction was not held on one of the 9 major planets but on the commercial planet of the Milky Way, Glorious Star. It was located at the edge of the Milky Way but close to 3 other galaxies, making it a prime location. Silver Universe Star was far from Glorious Star, but with cosmic ships and interstellar teleportation arrays, it wouldn't take long to reach Glorious Star. Furthermore, the auction was set to start a month later, giving even warriors from the other end of the Milky Way enough time to arrive. Yi Tian stayed on Silver Universe Star for a few days before setting off for Glorious Star. Along the way, Yi Tian traveled slowly, often staying on a planet for some time, and it took him half a month to finally reach Glorious Star. By then, there were 10 days left until the auction began. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel Premium. Your Talent is Mine, link to Patreon. Chapter 378, 5-Star Cosmic Spaceship. Glorious Star was a technologically advanced planet. However, there were also many martial warriors on Glorious Star due to its prosperity, attracting many from the outside world. Therefore, it was common to see god-level powerhouses on Glorious Star. After arriving, Yi Tian first took a tour around Glorious Star. He then sold some treasures on Glorious Star in exchange for a significant amount of star points. In an auction, one could not barter but must use star points to make purchases. In the galaxy, star points were the universal currency, so naturally, Yi Tian had to prepare a substantial amount of star points. Otherwise, even if he wanted to bid on the Mira Sutra, he would not be able to compete. Yi Tian had many common treasures, having killed many emperors and even several heavenly prides previously. The entire fortune of those emperors and heavenly prides was now in his possession, which spoke volumes of Yi Tian's current wealth. Moreover, during his time in the ancient god ruins, he also obtained numerous high-level cultivation resources, each of which could incite fierce battles among countless emperors. Thus, Yi Tian was certainly not short on money. In the following days, Yi Tian sold most of the treasures he did not need, exchanging them for approximately 50 billion star points. For most heavenly prides, having 10 billion star points would be considered wealthy. After all, heavenly prides also needed to cultivate, which required even more resources. Additionally, some treasures could not be sold, limiting the available funds. Yi Tian believed his 50 billion star points were sufficient to win a mere page of the Mira Sutra, as it couldn't be too precious. In the blink of an eye, the auction day arrived. That day, Yi Tian went to the Milky Way Commerce Association building, where the auction was held. The building, although modern, was constructed from materials as solid as those used in temples. Upon entering the building, Yi Tian activated his copy talent to survey the talents of the people around. The suppression of his copy talent on Glorious Star was minimal, allowing him to easily cover the area and even the entire building. Soon, the talents of numerous warriors appeared before Yi Tian. After filtering, Yi Tian spotted an impressive talent. A Dawn-level palm technique talent, not bad. Copy. His palm technique talent was also at the Dawn level. 2 more Dawn-level palm technique talents would elevate it to supreme level. Now, he needed only 1 more. With this, he was only 1 Dawn-level palm technique talent short. Copying this Dawn-level palm technique talent alone makes the trip worthwhile. Yi Tian thought. At the top of the Milky Way Commerce Association building, Yi Tian reached this floor and saw thousands of seats filled with warriors. He noticed that most of the warriors here were emperor level, with no god level warriors in sight. Clearly, this was an auction for those below the god level. At the auction, Yi Tian saw some familiar faces. Heavenly Pride Qingzhan, Thunderling Heavenly Pride, and other notable figures. Obviously, these heavenly prides were also invited. As the auction start time approached, more and more heavenly prides arrived. So many heavenly prides attending, I wonder what they are after. I am here for the Mira Sutra and wouldn't usually participate. What about these heavenly prides? Yi Tian telepathically asked Thunderling Heavenly Pride. Although not close, they were both peerless heavenly prides from Silver Universe Star, so he inquired. Thunderling Heavenly Pride, upon realizing it was Yi Tian asking, replied truthfully, Heavenly Pride of 10,000 laws, although this auction is not as high profile as a god-level auction, the Milky Way Commerce Association will feature a 5-star cosmic spaceship added at the last minute about 10 days ago. Upon hearing the news, all heavenly prides rushed here. What, a 5-star spaceship? Yi Tian admitted he was also tempted. Cosmic spaceships were categorized by levels, with the lowest being 1 star, which could only travel within a planetary system and had limited functions. 2-star spaceships could traverse between planetary systems, but could only cross one system at a time, making them slow even within the Milky Way. After all, the Milky Way consisted of countless planetary systems, and traveling from one end of the galaxy to the other by hopping between systems would take an incredibly long time. The value of 3-star cosmic spaceships was much higher, as they could traverse multiple systems in one go, and many of the galaxy's tech companies used 3-star spaceships for their high-end transportation services. 4-star cosmic spaceships were even more impressive, allowing free roam across the entire Milky Way at speeds up to 100 times the speed of light, making it no problem to traverse thousands of systems at once. As for 5-star cosmic spaceships, the Milky Way lacked the capability to construct such vessels. The spaceship ETN and others used to travel to the Moda galaxy was not actually a 5-star spaceship but a specially crafted artifact shaped like a spaceship, with the functionality of one. It was not a technological ship but a divine artifact ship crafted by martial warriors. A 5-star cosmic spaceship could traverse galaxies, something a 4-star spaceship cannot do. Attempting to cross galaxies in a 4-star spaceship would result in its disintegration. Thunderling Heavenly Pride, 5-star spaceships are not even owned by many spaceship transportation companies, so why bring one here for auction? ETN was curious. Thunderling Heavenly Pride explained, Heavenly Pride of 10,000 laws, you might be mistaken. This spaceship is not a large one but a small, personal model, unfit for transport. It's only about 100 meters long. So, it's a personal model cosmic spaceship. ETN admitted he was tempted. The value and utility of a personal 5-star cosmic spaceship was immense. If ETN wanted to leave the Milky Way, it would be much easier. He could easily travel across the spatial turbulence between galaxies in a 5-star spaceship, which would otherwise be quite difficult. Thunderling Heavenly Pride, how much would a personal 5-star cosmic spaceship approximately cost? ETN asked again. Knowing ETN wanted to buy, despite his own interest, Thunderling Heavenly Pride still shared, Heavenly Pride of 10,000 laws, I am not sure about the exact amount, but I guess it could cost tens of billions of star points. That much? ETN frowned. He had 50 billion star points and was unsure if that would be enough. The powers backing these heavenly prides could easily produce tens of billions of star points. If these heavenly prides had their support, he wouldn't be able to compete. Swiftly, ETN left his seat and found a manager of the Milky Way Commerce Association. Heavenly Pride of 10,000 laws, do you need something? The manager of the Milky Way Commerce Association asked. I'd like to consign an item for auction, is it still possible? ETN inquired. It's possible, as long as the auction hasn't started yet. What item would you like to consign? I want to consign a secret technique of physical body cultivation. ETN declared. What, you want to consign a secret technique of physical body cultivation? The manager of the Milky Way Commerce Association was astonished. Such a secret technique for physical cultivation was incredibly precious, and ETN was planning to auction it. Is it possible? ETN asked. Absolutely. The Milky Way Commerce Association manager eagerly agreed, visibly excited. He had never handled such an auction item before. Soon, the manager processed ETN's consignment. The secret technique of physical body cultivation ETN was auctioning was one of the 3 he had obtained previously, the Blazing God Body technique, which could amplify cultivation effects up to 14 times, making it an extremely powerful technique among its peers. The starting price for this secret technique was set at 30 billion. The price wasn't high because ETN imposed restrictions, allowing only one person to cultivate it with a sole oath, making it impossible for others to cultivate and significantly reducing its value. Without restrictions, a power might be willing to spend tens of trillions of star points for a secret technique of physical body cultivation. But then, the buyer would demand ETN not to teach or sell the technique, which he would not agree to. Thus, he chose this method. Even if it didn't earn much, it would be enough to buy a 5-star cosmic spaceship. Afterwards, ETN returned to his seat, waiting for the auction to start. Your talent is mine premium. Less than iframe sandbox equals, allow scripts, security equals, restricted, novel YTIM premium embed hash. Secret equals IQLQ9 werwex hash. Secret equals MRZUOSJFHY. Data secret equals, MRZUOSJFHY. Width equals, 600, height equals, 338. Frame border equals 0, margin width equals 0, margin height equals 0, scrolling equals no, greater than less than iframe greater than. Chapter 379, Successful Bid. The auction soon began. Initially, the items up for auction were some ordinary treasures. Of course, ordinary was only in the eyes of ETN. For other emperors, those treasures were quite rare and difficult to obtain in the outside world since hardly anyone sold them. These items could only occasionally be encountered at auctions, which attracted quite a few emperors to compete. ETN and the other heavenly prides naturally didn't take any interest in these items and did not compete for them. Before long, the auction finally reached the point where the Mira Sutra was up for sale. The auctioneer began introducing the Mira Sutra, saying, "The next item for auction is a page from the 9-star wondrous object, the Mira Sutra. You might have heard of the Mira Sutra. This wondrous object did not originate from the Milky Way but from the Andromeda Galaxy. Many gods and true gods fought over this 9-star wondrous object when it first appeared. A part of the Mira Sutra has made its way to our Milky Way, and this page is one of those original pages. This page contains a secret technique, the zoomy eye. The zoomy eye can see through illusions and even penetrate space, making it a very powerful illusion technique. Of course, the requirements to cultivate the zoomy eye are quite high. Not only does it require someone with spatial talent to cultivate it, but it also requires the zoomy spatial technique, which has been lost for a long time and has never reappeared. Perhaps it was destroyed during that war. Because of this, it's almost impossible to cultivate the zoomy eye. Somebody is auctioning a technique that can't be cultivated. Someone expressed dissatisfaction. The auctioneer smiled and said, "Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible to cultivate the zoomy spatial technique, but our Milky Way Commerce Association has a capable person who created a minor technique called the minor spatial technique, which can assist in cultivating the zoomy eye, achieving about a third of its original effect. This time, along with the auction of this page from the Mira Sutra, we're also providing the minor spatial technique. Providing the minor spatial technique makes it worth bidding for." Many heavenly prides became interested, as the practicality of a technique like the zoomy eye was significant. Yi Tian frowned slightly. Initially, when he heard the auctioneer say that the zoomy eye couldn't be cultivated, he got a bit excited. Because he possessed the zoomy spatial technique, he could completely cultivate the zoomy eye. He guessed that the zoomy spatial technique must be a very important secret technique in the Mira Sutra, also serving as a foundational technique, with many secret methods requiring the zoomy spatial technique as support. He thought that since others didn't have the zoomy spatial technique, they wouldn't bid for the zoomy eye. However, he didn't expect that the Milky Way Commerce Association would have a substitute technique. Even though it couldn't cultivate the complete version of the zoomy eye, a diminished version was enough to attract the heavenly prides. Thus, he faced considerable competition. The Mira Sutra's zoomy eye, starting bid 3 billion star points. The auctioneer announced loudly. 3 billion star points were undoubtedly a huge number for 8 or 9-star emperors. However, for the heavenly prides, it wasn't much. 3.1 billion star points. 3.2 billion star points. 3.3 billion star points. One after another, heavenly prides competed as if these amounts were just numbers to them. 3.5 billion star points. Yi Tian made his bid. At this, many heavenly prides backed down. They could afford the 200 million extra star points, but they also wanted to bid for a 5-star cosmic spaceship. Owning a 5-star cosmic spaceship would allow them to travel across many galaxies. However, a few heavenly prides still competed with Yi Tian, including Qing Zan, a heavenly pride who had a grudge against Yi Tian. Qing Zan nearly got killed by Yi Tian in one move previously, a humiliation for him. Unable to defeat Yi Tian, he could only compete with Yi Tian in the auction. 3.6 billion, Qing Zan said. Yi Tian smiled slightly and calmly placed a bid, 4 billion. Just as Qing Zan was about to continue bidding, an emperor beside him hurriedly advised, "Lord Qing Zan, 4 billion is too much. It far exceeds the value of the zoomy eye by many times. If we spend too much here, we might not be able to compete for the 5-star cosmic spaceship later." Hearing this, Qing Zan immediately gave up on bidding. With Qing Zan backing down, the other heavenly prides also withdrew, and Yi Tian successfully bid for the zoomy eye. Although he spent a lot, a bit at a loss, he wasn't short of money and didn't mind the star points. As long as he could obtain the zoomy eye, it was worth it. After the zoomy eye from the Mira Sutra was auctioned, other items were presented one by one, their values no less than the page from the Mira Sutra. However, these items were useless to Yi Tian, so he didn't bid anymore. Half an hour later, it was finally time for the 5-star cosmic spaceship to be auctioned. Due to the significant weight of the 5-star cosmic spaceship, despite being only 100 meters long, it was not easy to carry, so it was placed inside a spatial ring. The spatial ring was presented on the auction stage, and the auction began. The 5-star cosmic spaceship is a personal model with the capabilities of spatial jumping, traveling at 100 times the speed of light, and possessing ordinary true God-level defenses. It can traverse various galaxies, with a starting bid of 10 billion. The auctioneer announced. The starting bid of 10 billion made it impossible for many emperors and some heavenly prides to even consider participating in the auction. Only peerless heavenly prides or disciples from top-tier forces with the backing of significant resources could afford to participate in this fierce auction. 11 billion star points, 12 billion star points, 13 billion star points. Soon, many heavenly prides could no longer compete as the value of the 5-star cosmic spaceship exceeded their expectations. 50 billion star points. Peerless heavenly pride Qing Zan announced a shocking price. 55 billion star points. Peerless heavenly pride Thunder Ling called out. 60 billion star points. Yi Tian also joined the bidding. Several peerless heavenly prides competed, driving the price up rapidly, reaching 63 billion star points in no time. At this point, Thunder Ling gave up due to insufficient funds. Only 3 heavenly prides were still in competition: Yi Tian, Qing Zan, and another peerless heavenly pride, Long Yan. Long Yan was one of the 3 peerless heavenly prides who had previously pursued the Scorpio heavenly pride and was also quite wealthy. 65 billion star points. Yi Tian announced another astonishing bid. At this moment, Qing Zan said, "Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, you have no significant backing. I don't believe you have that many star points. If your account doesn't have enough funds, you should make random bids. That's the rule of the auction. How do you know I am not qualified to bid?" Yi Tian retorted with a cold smile. "Let's have the Milky Way Commerce Association auction staff check our accounts and determine our eligibility. Otherwise, making random bids breaks the rules." Qing Zan suggested. freewebnovel.com. "Fine by me," Yi Tian agreed. Soon, the 3 were on the auction stage, and a staff member from the Milky Way Commerce Association checked their accounts. Shortly after, Yi Tian's funds were revealed to be 50 billion, with a usable balance of over 45 billion after bidding for the Zumi Eye. Long Yan and Qing Zan had around 70 billion in available funds, significantly more than Yi Tian. Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws, with only so much in funds, you dared to bid 65 billion. You're breaking the rules. Qing Zan accused. Many emperors in the audience were alarmed. Bidding high without the funds was indeed breaking the rules, which could tarnish one's reputation. Yi Tian calmly responded, "Qing Zan, you seem to have forgotten something. If I have an item consigned at the auction, its value is also considered part of my funds. And I happen to have an item consigned, which the Milky Way Commerce Association staff can verify." The Milky Way Commerce Association staff member confirmed, "Heavenly pride of 10,000 laws indeed has an item consigned with a starting bid of 30 billion, thus he has sufficient funds to bid for the 5-star cosmic spaceship." "What, an item with a starting bid of 30 billion? Qing Zan and the others were stunned. They could produce an item worth 30 billion, but they would never auction it off. Now, it was too late to prepare the funds. It also didn't allow consignments after the auction had already started. According to the auction's regulations, since Qing Zan requested to check the balance, he couldn't raise his bid any further. Yi Tian's bid of 65 billion star points was valid, effectively withdrawing Qing Zan from the bidding. As for Long Yan, knowing he couldn't outbid Yi Tian and not wanting to offend him intentionally, he also withdrew. Ultimately, Yi Tian won the 5-star cosmic spaceship for 65 billion star points. At this point, many heavenly prides were curious about the item Yi Tian had consigned, worth a starting bid of 30 billion. TL, the RAs were so shitty this time. Leave some feedback in my Discord. Web links. You can read extra chapters at Novel YTIM Premium, link to Patreon. Chapter 380, Acquiring a 5-star cosmic spaceship, roaming the galaxy. The 5-star cosmic spaceship was the finale item of the auction, originally intended to be the last piece offered. However, due to Yi Tian consigning the secret technique for physical body cultivation, it became the ultimate finale item instead. Next, the heritage orb that contained the secret technique for physical body cultivation was presented on the auction stage. The auctioneer introduced, "This is the final highlight item, a secret technique for physical body cultivation called the Blazing God Body Technique. Its maximum amplification effect can reach 14, but it's only useful for those with fire attribute talents. The starting bid is 30 billion. Boom, the entire venue erupted in excitement. A secret technique for physical body cultivation was an incredibly precious treasure, something even top powers would covet and be willing to pay a huge price for. Now, someone was willing to consign a secret technique for physical body cultivation, and it was at an emperor-level auction no less. If it were at a god-level auction, it could have fetched an even higher price. Moreover, the starting bid for a secret technique for physical body cultivation seemed too low at just 30 billion star points. The heavenly pride of 10,000 laws actually consigned a secret technique for physical body cultivation. All the heavenly prides were incredulous. At that moment, Qingzhan Heavenly Pride said, "Auctioneer, a secret technique for physical body cultivation that can amplify effects up to 14, why is the starting bid so low? Could there be something wrong with this secret technique?" The auctioneer smiled slightly and explained, "There's nothing wrong with the Blazing God Body Technique secret technique. However, the consignor has placed a restriction on it, allowing only individual cultivation. It can't be cultivated by others, thus significantly reducing its value." Ah, a restricted secret technique for physical body cultivation, useless to powers and only valuable to individuals, no wonder the starting bid is just 30 billion star points. The crowd suddenly understood. Even so, many heavenly prides were thrilled, especially those with fire attribute talents who were extremely eager to obtain this secret technique for physical body cultivation. The auction began, and one after another, the heavenly prides started bidding. The starting price of 30 billion star points was still steep for them, but for a secret technique for physical body cultivation, they were willing to pay any price. Qingzhan Heavenly Pride was very dissatisfied with Yi Tian, but even though this secret technique was consigned by Yi Tian, he still participated in the bidding. Because he also wanted this secret technique for physical body cultivation. Although he didn't have a fire attribute talent, he could use a treasure to acquire one, and then, at great cost, elevate this newly acquired fire attribute talent to a mystic level. Despite the high cost, it was possible. Then, he could cultivate this secret technique for physical body cultivation. In other words, even if he didn't cultivate this secret technique, selling it to the power behind him could bring even more benefits. So, he too wanted to win this secret technique for physical body cultivation. Soon, only a few peerless heavenly prides remained in the competition, as the others lacked the financial power. In the end, Long Yan Heavenly Pride won the auction for the Blazing God Body Technique secret technique for physical body cultivation at a price of 87 billion. In fact, Long Yan Heavenly Pride didn't have that much money, but he borrowed some from others in secret, allowing him to win the bid at 87 billion and outbid the other heavenly prides. In the outside world, 87 billion star points wouldn't be enough to buy a secret technique for physical body cultivation, making Long Yan Heavenly Pride's acquisition a huge bargain. If Yi Tian had consigned it earlier and allowed the Milky Way Commerce Association to promote it, it could definitely have sold for over 100 billion star points, but there wasn't enough time. Yi Tian had no regrets. His goal was to acquire the 5-star cosmic spaceship. As for consigning the Blazing God Body Technique, it was no loss to him, he was more than happy. The auction ended. Yi Tian went backstage to complete the transaction with the Milky Way Commerce Association, not spending a single penny and even earning several 100 billion star points. Outside Glorious Star, in the cosmic space, Yi Tian stood there, summoning the 5-star cosmic spaceship from his spatial ring. This time, he didn't plan to use the interstellar teleportation array or any other cosmic spaceship to return but to pilot his own cosmic spaceship back to Silver Universe Star. He was looking forward to it. With a roar, the 5-star cosmic spaceship appeared before him, the hatch opened, and Yi Tian entered. A 5-star cosmic spaceship was a technological product, but it also required a master. The process of becoming the master of a technological product was different from that of a martial arts treasure. The latter involved refining and soul recognition, while the former involved code recognition. If the code was leaked, the technological product could easily be taken by others. Therefore, technological products could change owners easily, but that's an unavoidable issue. But if one's strength was sufficiently strong, technological products could also be safeguarded. In this universe, everything depended on strength. Yi Tian quickly completed the ownership process of the cosmic spaceship, securing the highest authority over this 5-star cosmic spaceship. Master, I am the AI Little Eye of Cosmic Spaceship number 39, at your service. The voice of the AI echoed in Yi Tian's ears. To Silver Universe Star. Yi Tian issued the command. Little Eye responded, searching for Silver Universe Star, target located and locked, please select the mode of travel. I choose spatial jump, Yi Tian hurriedly instructed. Spatial jump in progress estimated to require 3 jumps, taking a total of 10 minutes to reach Silver Universe Star, Little Eye informed. 10 minutes, that's so fast. Freewebnovel.com. Yi Tian was quite surprised. Despite its small size, the 5-star cosmic spaceship was high-performing, much to Yi Tian's satisfaction. Boom! The spatial jump commenced. The cosmic spaceship darted into a spatial tunnel and vanished. After a minute, the cosmic spaceship emerged from another star system. However, spatial jumps couldn't be continuous, so the jumping equipment needed to cool down before it could be initiated again. A few minutes later, another spatial jump began. And so, 10 minutes passed, and Yi Tian's cosmic spaceship had jumped to the vicinity of Silver Universe Star. Since Yi Tian's cosmic spaceship wasn't registered on Silver Universe Star, it couldn't directly fly into the spaceport of Silver Universe Star. Thus, Yi Tian exited the cosmic spaceship and with a wave of his hand, stored the 5-star cosmic spaceship into his personal spatial realm. Swoosh! Yi Tian flew towards a spaceport. Before long, Yi Tian returned to Qingfeng Giant City. Upon his return, he shared the news of his acquisition of the 5-star cosmic spaceship with his wife, Empress Yu, who was also very interested in the so-called 5-star cosmic spaceship. Hence, in the following days, Yi Tian took Empress Yu on a tour across numerous planets in the galaxy aboard the 5-star cosmic spaceship, even making a trip back to Earth. Half a month later, Yi Tian returned to Silver Universe Star and no longer indulged in the pleasure of the 5-star cosmic spaceship. Some things, once tried, lost their appeal. Yi Tian and Empress Yu resumed their cultivation. In the cultivation room, Yi Tian took out the page that recorded the Zoomy Eye. As for the Zoomy spatial technique gifted by the Milky Way Commerce Association, he glanced at it and then stored it away. The Zoomy spatial technique was of no use to him, far inferior to the Zoomy spatial technique. Yi Tian studied the Zoomy Eye and discovered that its core also involved the Zoomy realm, requiring the integration of 2 small Zoomy realms into the eyes to cultivate the Zoomy Eye. Once the Zoomy Eye was cultivated, even if someone phased into space, Yi Tian could see through it clearly, even observing the spatial jumps of cosmic spaceships with ease, potentially even intercepting them if he was fast enough. Furthermore, illusions would hardly affect Yi Tian in the future. The Zoomy Eye could see through and break illusions. Such an awesome Zoomy Eye. This time I hit the jackpot. Yi Tian couldn't wait to start cultivating. After a few days, Yi Tian successfully captured 2 small Zoomy realms and integrated them into his eyes. Then, he spent half a month successfully cultivating the Zoomy Eye. If others knew he had cultivated the true Zoomy Eye, they would be incredibly shocked. Afterward, Yi Tian returned to the monotonous and tedious grind of cultivation. One day, an important notice came from the Heavenly Pride Pavilion. Thanks for reading at Etude Translations.